I honestly, I try to mix it up. I really do. I try. But every time I'm here, my finger just gravitates to the Gajita button. In many ways, it's beyond my control at this point. I don't know.
I'm never going to
I
tell
don't know
you
what
not
to
to
tell
play
you.
Gajira,
You're
so.
never gonna tell me not to.
Mm-mm.
I hear that. So, but I am curious. I'm wondering how much more often I play the Gajira intro and outro than everything else. I mean, obviously it's more. It's got to be because it's you know fucking great. So I'm probably not allowed to say that this early in the stream, but whoops, it slipped out. Welcome everyone to my channel. I'm Kip Davis. I'm a biblical scholar and a specialist in early Judaism and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I am a I'm a proponent of responsible strategies for reading the Bible and for understanding the Bible because in these parts, I mean, I said it once already. I might as well say it again, right? We fucking love the Bible over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm joined, as always, by my very good friend and co-host, Vishanti. Good to see you. I always catch her at, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't always catch her at lunchtime. It's just that Vishanti just she has to keep eating constantly in order to live. So,
Pretty much.
so, so this
Freaking high
is what happens.
metabolism. I know people are like, oh my God, I wish I was so skinny like you. Because, like, you're skinny. I would love to be skinny. You don't want this metabolism. You really, really, really don't. Like, if you're
We might have.
I get hungry every 3 to 4 hours, and it's not like, I could go for a snack. It's like 0 to ravenous. There's no in between.
I need to eat a bison right now. It just, yeah, find me.
I've had bison. It's really good.
It is really good. It is. So, yeah, and I think we might have mentioned this in the SBL stream. Is that the last one we did? It might have been. I don't know. We might have no, we did the one with Steven. But in the one before that, we might have mentioned that it, it's gets pretty real when you're hanging out with Vish and literally like every 2 hours you have to stop somewhere. So,
I did put snacks in my backpack. It only goes so far.
I get it. So all right. You should get a Drotner intro. Best Chris. I don't know this one. Holy cow. Drotner. I'm looking that up because I do still love me some Christian metal. It's pretty good. I don't hate Michael Jones,
That's
but
why
he
we're here
does
today.
seem to get a lot wrong. Yes, this is why we're here. Bison is good, but have you ever had I have also had alligator.
One time when I was in like my first or second year of college, we went to New Orleans for, a football game. And if you're in a college band, you pretty much go everywhere. So
Yeah.
we were in New Orleans for the weekend, and I was like, okay, sure, why not? I wouldn't eat it again, but at least I can say I've had it.
Right. And I have also had alligator. And I'm not sure because I had alligator at the only place that you can get alligator in the thriving metropolis of Langley, British Columbia. So, I'm just not entirely sure that they would make good alligator. And I wouldn't know at this point good alligator from not the best alligator. The alligator I had was fine. It was okay. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that's as good as it gets.
Grilled chicken burrito.
Nice. I have an eggnog latte here today, which is and I hold my cup funny because my one of my good for nothing kids put a chip in my favorite coffee mug. What the hell is that about? It's right in the place where your mouth goes, because I'm not left-handed, right? So that's a problem. That's a real problem. Are there alligators in Canada? This feels like this isn't a real question, is it? It's not. It can't be. Yeah, only the ones that they serve at the restaurant in in Langley, British Columbia. So Oh.
Cuneiform guy says they might even have snakes in Canada.
They do, as a matter of fact. There's an amazing place in southern Alberta where I grew up called Dinosaur Provincial Park. Sounds magical, and it is. It is,
Okay.
it's a massive landscape, right in the Red Deer Valley. It's basically Canadian Badlands. So picture, like, I don't know, where are the Badlands in the US? That's like,
Northern Plains.
yeah, that kind of thing. So picture that, lots of like hoodoos and sort of this very, very arid, hilly landscape, very dry, and lots of snakes. Not
Ready
no
for all this jibba jabba.
No, look who showed up. It's good to see you, Josh. Josh knows exactly what's happening. We talked quite a bit about the stream beforehand, so he doesn't have to stick around because he knows what the outcome is going to be. But you're not here for for all the, yeah, that's true. But this is, I don't know. We struggle to get going in a timely fashion, and I'm going to finish my story about Dinosaur Provincial Park.
It's just banter.
So it is. This is banter. Dinosaur Provincial Park is very, very cool. Because it's just this cool landscape in the Red Deer River Valley. There's a lot of paleontological digs and work that is ongoing in Dinosaur Provincial Park. They've pulled out tons of fossils, dinosaur fossils. That's why, hence the name, right? There's a campground right in the middle of it. It's pretty great.
Apropos.
Yeah. So, but lots of snakes, not dangerous snakes, but good size. I mean, for Canada, I think, like, I've seen, 1.5 meter long snakes in Dinosaur Provincial Park before.
So that's what, like 5 feet, 5, 6
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah. So, not many, but they're out there. It's pretty cool. All right. So, this
Just a
ends
couple
the banter session.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
or
a
do
couple
is
of
something
things
else?
to get us
Yeah,
set
yeah.
up as we
Oh,
go in.
sure.
John Gooderham says IP is fully turning into a right-wing grifter. I wouldn't say he's turning into, he's already there. All he needs now is
Yeah, he's
Candace
there.
Owens clips, and the rest of the lowlights will slither out from under the rock. Speaking of snakes, no wave says, imagine Michael Jones tattoo Hebrew on his arm. Yeah, I
For
always
real, right?
laugh a little bit at
For real. And we're
non-Jews
gonna
who get Hebrew tattoos.
talk about this. We are going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Treats for
Lil, give
Dagon.
him treats for Dagon.
Shoot, I
Yay,
still
where's
don't
the
have.
doggo?
He is here.
Okay.
Hi, buddy. He's in trouble with the law, as it turns out. Yeah. Dagon had an altercation at the community forest recently.
Uh-oh.
And these are, I say altercations, right? Like, this is just normal dog shit. Dogs are like kids, and sometimes they get snappy with each other, but so long as nobody's hurt, it's it's usually fine.
Yeah.
But this one lady in the park was, and
It's
I'll
always
be honest,
It's a Karen every time.
yeah. And so Maya has been trying to get me to access my inner asshole. So I've been practicing. And I don't know. I told her to fuck off. I probably shouldn't have, but that probably didn't help the situation. But now there's an investigation afoot to see whether or not Dagon qualifies as an aggressive dog. If he does, I think everything's going to be fine, because it's literally the kind of thing that you see at any off-leash dog park any day of the week. Well, that's
ridiculous.
That's too good. What was the tree wearing? Yeah. Listen, these are not the kinds of questions you should be asking That's very that's
I've been
just very
reliably
inappropriate,
informed
Aunt Jer.
that I speak for the trees now, and the trees are like, "That's not an appropriate question, by the way."
It is
Hello,
not.
Zoomy.
Hey, Zooey.
Come on, start
Oh
already on
God.
board. Yeah,
All
shut
right.
up.
So seriously, um,
Decades 5643 says Jen's also dangerous because he's pushing Christian nationalism. That is correct.
100%
And
is.
pivoting off that, Chrissy, hello, Chrissy. I very much dislike Mike in his defense of massive creep David Wood. Any philandering respect I had for him goes on. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't defend sexual predators, and definitely don't defend ones that sleep with underage girls.
Don't do that.
It's not hard.
Um,
I know that it's not
no.
hard. You can just not do that. You can just not defend them.
And listen, this bullshit about the blood of Jesus covering all your sins and the value of repentance and how that restores a person completely, not in the public eye.
Yeah, not in
My
the eyes of the
guy.
law.
Not in the eyes of the law, not in the eyes of, people who are not part of your particular brand of Christianity. This is a different bar. So just get the hell out of here with that kind of stuff. So, but that's good because that
Please.
looks after a bunch of things now that I don't have to talk about. I don't have to talk about the fact that Michael is just shilling for Christian nationalism now, and I don't have to talk about the fact that
Yeah.
he's defending disgusting pieces of garbage like David Wood. This is
This-
is this Zumi? No, this is somebody different.
No,
Zavizio.
Zavizio.
Hi, Zavizio.
Do you think the Exodus 22 child sacrifice, excuse me, is a historical event thought to be from God at the time? That's kind of loaded.
If you thought Exodus 22 child sacrifice is a historical event thought to be from God at the time, I don't think
they thought it
anything
was
is
from God.
like the command. I would expect so. I would expect everything that they followed through in their ritual practice they viewed as divinely mandated, as according to what the gods want. In terms of historical, I mean, I'll say child sacrifice happened in the Levant. We're quite certain of that. If it happened in the Levant, and it was going on in the 9th, 8th, 7th centuries, and the biblical text certainly seem to indicate that it was happening, then it's the Yahweh was the recipient of child sacrifices in the Levant. So my son's just closing the door because I'm super loud.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yeah. So there, I guess that, yeah, that. We should you have limited time, so we should probably get on with this. But just before we bring up the video, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what is actually happening today. Michael Jones did a debate at DebateCon recently, where he was debating the merits of Christian civilization versus Muslim civilization. And it's part of, I would say, a recent trend for Michael. When I started on YouTube some time ago, 3 years ago now, I think, maybe 4, I don't know. Yeah, actually, I think it's probably 4. Here's Michael's channel. When I started 3 or 4 years ago, Michael's content was almost entirely devoted to apologetics for the Bible and for Christianity, and he would confront lots of skeptics and atheist arguments, and he dabbled in like some Christian nonsense like creationism or
He
silly.
actually put up a video about the flood that countered the young Earth creationist model,
Mm-hmm.
and that was actually really important to getting me out
yeah.
of literalism. So I
No
mean,
kidding.
credit where it's due,
Wow.
but now it's like he has no filters, no limits on the level of shittiness that he's gonna stoop to.
There's been a decided shift in content over the last easily the last year, maybe a little bit more than that. And if you look through his catalog, these are his recent lives. a Muslim's hilarious defense of cousin marriage, live call-in show, debate review. Oh, that's his debate review with Richard Carrier. Another call-in show,
Mm.
Islam is false, Islamic dilemma
I'm Team
solved.
Meteor on that.
Muslims are dumb. Another Muslim call-in show. Muhammad was immoral. Low IQ Muslims. Like, it's just
Dude,
there's
what
a
the heck?
lot. There is a
This
lot.
is just Christian nationalism and
It
Islamophobia. That's
is.
just what that is.
It is
It's
just
ridiculous.
Islamophobic garbage, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
it.
Simone's right. To imagine that Christendom was superior to the Islamic world from the 8th century to the Mongol invasions requires incredible imagination.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's been the shift, and I think the question I've been raising for quite a while is what that is about. And I think you're probably right. This is part of a Christian nationalist program. It's part of this transition into promoting these sorts of sorts of ideas. Part of me wondered though too, before even thinking through. I mean the Christian nationalism question has really kind of come to the forefront in the last year, certainly. But prior to that, a lot of what I wondered was, uh, is this because it's hard to,
Hmm.
you know, to promote new apologetics
'Cause there
encountering
aren't any.
skeptics?
They don't have
You
any
know,
new stuff.
why not pick on the low hanging fruit of, um, Muslims?
Yeah.
Uh, I should say Muslim apologetics.
This is the thing, is you can tell when there's, like, an upsurge of Islamophobia and racism in general, because
Yeah.
most of the time, apologists don't really talk about Islam. Excuse me, the chicken burritos a little bit stuck in my throat. Anyway, they're kind of, like, in the background about it, but you can tell when there's a shift politically because it becomes all about the scary brown Arabs and the scary brown immigrants and the scary brown Muslims taking over the good Christian white country. And he's just riding this wave like the grifter and the morally bankrupt person that he is. So,
Precisely. Yes.
like
So,
Simone was saying in the chat earlier, is that Islam has one of the richest intellectual traditions out there, of, like, any of the Western, like,
without
big
question.
religions.
Yes.
And it's like, look, do you know what the Baghdad House of Wisdom was? Do you know about the Islamic Golden Age? Do you know about, like, the development of higher forms of mathematics and astronomy? Like, that came out of that world. So, if you're gonna critique a
Yeah.
lot of things, you can
Yeah.
critique text all you want to, but then they can just flip that right back on you and go, "Hey, all the patriarchs in the Hebrew Bible married their cousins. Adam and Eve, apparently, just from going off the
Yeah.
text, their kids were involved with each other," which
I mean, yeah, there's ways to read your text that you need to think through some of these issues. That is true. I should point out, I suspect in terms of Christian nationalism, I would say there is certainly the Islamophobic, anti-Semitic brand of Christian nationalism, and then there is an Islamophobic brand that is still anti-Semitic, but much more in terms
Mhm.
of appropriating elements of Jewish culture and
Yeah.
promoting Christian Zionism. And Michael, I think probably trends more towards that camp. So Islam is literally responsible for preserving half the philosophy and medical writings of antiquity that Christians neglected. Thank you, Chrissy. So I mean, my goal here is not to litigate
Yeah.
or to get into this discussion of Christian versus Islamic apologetics, because that's not what we do here. This
You're
channel
Christian,
is
cool. If
about the
you're
Bible.
Muslim, alright, whatever. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just here to talk about the Bible
What
stuff.
I'm particularly interested in, and that's what drew my attention in this debate, is the ways in which Michael marshals the Bible in the service of his own arguments. It's something that I've seen, I've had direct experience with in terms of his confrontations of skeptics and biblical criticism and theories with regards to the formation and place of Scripture in our world. But now it's interesting seeing the same things in this different realm, this different venue. So I've pulled some clips from the debate, and I want to talk about those. Before getting into those, sorry, one more thing quickly, Vish. Just because oh shoot, I should have had this ready, shouldn't I have? So one more thing that we're going to talk about today, because it's an issue in this stream. Michael wants to use arguments from the language whenever he enters into these conversations, and will take advantage of the fact that people do not know. People do not read, people do not understand the language. And when he says things that sound reasonable, it sound like they could be true with such confidence, when he says this is backed by scholars, people should be forgiven for just taking his word for it, but that is dangerous. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I am starting. There are language courses available at digitalhammurabi.com. You can learn Hebrew. You can learn Egyptian. You can learn Akkadian. You can learn Sumerian. All at digitalhammurabi.com. I will be starting a new Hebrew cohort in the beginning of January. So if you have any interest at all in learning the language, if it's something that you have ever thought this would be cool, this would be fun, if you are looking for ways to enrich your own understanding and experience and interaction with the biblical text, then think about joining me. It's a lot of fun. I'm just finishing up my first cohort. Vish went through Josh's introduction to Hebrew
3 terms, I think.
cohort of three terms. They're 3 terms
Yeah.
each, 10 lectures in each term, a total of 30 lectures. So
I think
it takes about a
4
year
total.
to.
I didn't do the
Or
4th one
what?
though, because it's mostly
Oh
what
yeah,
you're
he
doing on
does.
your reading Hebrew
That's right.
stream.
He does
So
a reading group too. I've not offered those, but people have the option to go and join Josh's reading groups as well when they're finished mine. So it's consider joining us. And I will say this. I've said this many times before because I've encountered Michael's content on YouTube many times before, but honestly, if he was serious about this kind of stuff, he should be first in line for this kind of thing.
Mhm.
If you're serious about what you're doing, Michael Jones, if you ever watch this, then for God's sake, go. And I mean that because you believe in God. For God's sake, go
he'll help you
learn
learn it, right?
Hebrew. Go learn it. You can learn it with me if you want. I have no objection to that. But yes, the link is in the description. What curriculum do you use, Kip? My friend Joshua Bowen has just finished writing and publishing his own texts for learning biblical
Cosine, it's good.
Hebrew, and they are very good. So I've been using Josh's text.
The way that I pitch it
So
to people is that he actually writes something for a beginner to a foreign language.
yeah,
Excuse me. And it's not just any foreign language, because English speakers won't have as much trouble with, say, any of the Germanic languages or even the Romance languages to an extent. With a Semitic language, you're not only learning a completely foreign alphabet, you have to learn to read in the opposite direction. So, yeah, God wants you to learn Hebrew. So when you're dealing with this, our cohorts were going through a like academic graduate level grammar, which is fine if you're in grad school or your PhD candidate. That's fine. or you're a linguist like Dapper. But if you're a beginner student, that is not the best way to learn a language, especially this one. So I think enough of us were struggling with the text and how it goes into things for him to go, you know what? I think I should do a better job. So he did. He wrote a whole thing, and it's really good. It's very accessible. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
StreamYard launched a new feature where you can simulcast vertical and landscape. So that's why. Just pick the one that you like.
If you don't like your aspect ratio that you're viewing this stream in now, there is a link in the description for you to switch. I encourage you to do that as well. So now I'll do the super chat, and then that's Simone. Do it, everyone. Yeah. Learning the languages is one of the most enriching things and opens up an entirely new world of textual interpretation.
Yeah. And you don't have to rely on other people to tell you what it says based on their opinion or whatever. You can just read it for yourself, and then you can go get other opinions. Like, it's very nice. It's liberating. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So thank you very much, Christopher Sanford, for £5 in the beginning of January. Kip taught a course, or when Kip began to teach his course. It was January.
Very well
very
done.
Nice. Very
I like
nice.
That. Now, see, if you had taken Hebrew, you would know why that's funny.
Yeah. So this Christopher is riffing on Genesis chapter 1. Chuck, I offer a scholarship.
Michael, if you get this far into the video, you have a standing offer for a scholarship, so you wouldn't even have to pay for it, even though we know you're making a pretty sizable penny doing what you're doing. So.
I might have to just do a one-on-one with Michael, because Prixie is telling me that Prixie has signed up for the course, that she does not want him in the class with her, which is fair. I think that's fair. So, but the offer's there. Is there just one chat for both aspect ratios, or do they have two? Yeah, I think it's two. My apologies.
Like, they all come through StreamYard, but
yes, we see everything, but you guys probably won't. So, and the reason I'm doing this,
cognate languages.
Yep. So the reason I'm doing this with the different aspect ratios is because in the near future, I'm hoping to be able to just broadcast these streams directly to TikTok, and which I loathe, and I have no interest in navigating or dealing with. But if I can just get my material on TikTok without having to deal with any of it, that's good. So, all right, let's take a look at the video. And just by way of introduction, the gentleman that can you go back to the beginning, please? So,
okay.
Just because there's a little intro piece here. The gentleman that Michael is debating his name is Junior. I believe he's a musician, and he's a young guy. His family suffered through the has suffered through the conquest of Gaza by the IDF.
Oh, the genocide.
Yes, the genocide. So he is a passionate young man. I don't think that in terms of debate performances, it's not. I mean, it's not great, but
it's modern day debate. I mean,
it's modern day debate.
It's gonna be pretty bottom tier stuff here.
But listen, he makes some important points that I am going to emphasize as we go through this. I need to warn people as well. When it comes to these interreligious sort of debates, they can get a little weird. And as a result, Michael and Junior spend an inordinate amount of time talking about sexuality and marriage and child marriage, which seems to be Christian counter Islamic apologists' favorite hobby horse these days. So there's going to be a lot of that. I apologize in advance for that. There's going to be a lot of frank talk Not Frank Turek.
Uh-oh, Kip.
Frank,
Are you
Frank
offering a trigger warning? Are we full of, like,
we might
sensitive
be.
snowflake?
We might
No, but
be.
seriously,
Well,
like,
mostly. Listen,
there might be
this
some
is
stuff in here
this
that's
is
triggering.
mostly for all the teenagers in the audience. To just
Mm.
behave like adults, please. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. So
Devo says
there.
that they watch Inspiring Flight. I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than watch
I
that
actually.
Team
So
Meteor.
I did watch that debate, and I had some thoughts about it that I have since forgotten because it was very forgettable. But I do remember thinking that I was surprised at Carrier's performance. Didn't think it was all that good. Especially in view of the fact that Michael's arguments were mostly shit. But yeah,
I'm shocked.
yeah, that's how these things go, right? Okay, so there's going to be we're going to be looking at 5 things really in this video here. First, there's just the briefest little bit here that a brief little point that Michael wants to make from the biblical text about polygyny. Then there's
Polygyny?
a larger polygyny, sorry. Yeah. Polygyny. It's when you're
Greek.
it's from Greek. Sorry. There's a significant section here on child marriage, and we'll look at some of the text that Michael wants to invoke in his defense of how the Israelites did things differently than everybody else.
That's how my brain heard it.
Yeah.
That's how my brain heard it.
My apologies to a friend of the channel, Apologia. So there's a section about Jewish marriage customs in antiquity, and then we're going to finish up here with a look at a conversation these two had with regards to sexual assault legislation in Deuteronomy chapter 22. So I know it's a heavy one, but this is where these things have a tendency to go. Let's start, shall we?
Do you want me to start at 4 or do you want me to start at 15?
I want you to start at 0.
Fine. Okay, here we go.
You didn't give me a verse, but do you know more than Kathir?
I'm reading the tafsir from the Quran. I literally told you, you're not a Muslim scholar. You will never understand what idda means. You don't even understand the root word of idda.
Pause. Do you know what? Do you know why I'm starting with this clip, Vish?
If I speak, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah. So, yes, Junior is correct. Why is Rich? Well, oh God, I almost said Richard.
Freudian slip.
Why is Michael Jones talking about the Quran like he actually has the first goddamn idea what he's doing? Why? You know what? I don't know what edda means, and I do not know the root of this word because I don't know the first goddamn thing about
and you know
Quran.
what? Neither of us talk about anything really related to Islam because we
No.
don't know anything about it.
We don't know.
The only stuff
shit.
that I know I have learned pretty much directly from my Muslim friends or from people who have studied it like academically.
Yeah.
You're not gonna catch my ass out here doing debates talking about what the Quran says. Like, psh, nope.
But this is what Michael Jones does. As with the Quran, sorry, that eggnog latte is coming back on me a bit here. As with the Quran, so with the Bible. Michael does not read these texts. Michael does not know what the roots of the words we're going to discuss today are. Michael does not understand the arguments that he is going to employ in service of his points that he's picked up from friends and from scholarship that he has accessed, much of which is hugely problematic, and we'll get into. What's missing here is a huge amount of nuance that you encounter and you
Shocked.
experience when you learn the languages, when you can actually sit down and read the texts. And I thought this was amusing because, and it shouldn't be surprising, I suppose, that that Michael Jones, in his ignorance, treats the Quran and treats Islam the same way that he treats the Hebrew Bible.
I'm a Quranic expert. I read every chick tract on the subject, some of them twice.
Very nice. That was good.
Oh man.
So, but I certainly appreciate this guy calling him out on that. Like, who the hell do
we're
you
probably gonna do that
think
a lot.
you are? Why do you think your opinion matters? Why?
This is the
When you
same thing that,
cannot read the damn text.
when you were critiquing, Richard Carrier's work, and he gets really upset when you talk about the fact that he doesn't know the original languages, and he goes, "Yeah, but I read people that do," and it's like, first of all, that's not good enough. You're a PhD. You can learn a language. It's really not impossible. And second of all, even if he was reading people that know what they're talking about, he certainly doesn't internalize any of it. He's not synthesizing that information. So
someone should probably send that link to Richard Carrier. He could also,
would you teach him
and to
Hebrew?
take my course. Yeah, I think I would. So maybe, I don't know. Now I have to think. No, I have to think about
I think you're a little too quick on that one.
I was a little bit, wasn't I? Yeah. Okay.
See, Canadian, you can't fight your nature. You're like,
So,
yeah, wait.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
Yes, but yeah. Was I? No, I think that's. I think we're good. So now, just to set this one up, I think this is the next one. Let me pull up my notes here. No, okay. So that's coming up. All right. So in this next one, he's going to make the briefest of the brief points about polygyny. And we're gonna need to take a look first at Leviticus 18.
Here's another standing offer, and this one includes West Huff.
Wow, boy! If I would have to broadcast the classes then too. Boy, that is a fine offer, I have to say.
I mean, it's nice that you would pay for it, but I wouldn't embarrass students, even if it is Richard Carrier. I'm just like,
he would probably prefer it, because regardless of how Richard Carrier is doing in his class, he's going to be certain that he's at the top of it.
Well, all right. Seriously, where are all these tuition offers when you need them? God, really? Somebody sponsor me to go to grad school. Why do you think I'm doing all this like free stuff on YouTube? I can't.
It's not because she's my friend or that she likes me. It's not
We're
that
not
at
friends.
all. No. All right.
Can't stand the guy. Anyway.
30% of the young men, 20, depending on what nation you're in, percentage can vary. You leave them alone without the prospect of having a wife or starting a family?
Okay. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but if this starts brushing up against the whole male loneliness epidemic, honey, this is just natural selection at work. It's social selection. If you can't get a girlfriend, if you're straight or perhaps bisexual, if you can't get a girlfriend, if you can't get a wife, if you're not getting laid, that's a skill issue. You need to be more appealing to the people you want to attract. If that's not happening for you, that's a you problem. Like constantly demanding people meet your standards and then getting upset when they don't go for it. Get good.
Get good.
What'd you pull up? I see that you have a text.
I figured I would pull up Safari. Make your job a little
I
bit
mean, I
easier.
have them in the tabs, but it's
Oh,
fine.
do you? Okay.
can keep
No.
going. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
What do you think they're going to do?
Oh, I have to say this. But Nick Fuentes said,
Mhm.
yeah, he did an interview, and Piers Morgan was like, "Do you think women are difficult to be around?" He was like, "Yeah, I do." And he was like, "Well, have you ever, been with a woman?" And Nick was like, "Well, no." Guy who has never been hard around a woman says that women are hard to be around. Okay. All right. Sure, kid. I laughed about that one for quite a while. Anyway.
Thank God Christianity outlawed polygamy early on, because we see that.
What? You have something to say about that,
I don't know.
surely.
I don't know anything about this. I honestly don't. This is just I don't
my
give
God.
I don't
Okay.
give the first goddamn fuck about what
About early Christian history?
Christianity. No, none, no interest, none. So I'm happy. I am
Alright.
happy to accept that this is true. Sure. Christianity outlawed
Okay.
polygamy. I don't know that that's an amazing. Listen. Just let's drop let's pull the video down just for a second.
Okay.
So I have polyamorous friends.
Mhm.
That's not me. That is not. I was in a monogamous relationship for the last 30 plus years. Any future relationships I have are going to be monogamous relationships. That's not me, but I am also not convinced that there's anything remotely wrong with consenting adults organizing their sex and family lives the way that they choose to, so long as everybody is healthy and looked after and
None of my business.
it is none of my goddamn business.
I got
It
enough
really
shit
isn't.
to worry about.
So, but
Time for that.
but Michael Jones seems to think we can put the video back up now.
Okay.
I'm off the soapbox. But Michael Jones seems to think that this is an important point that benefited society. And he's going he thinks that he can make some arguments for this as well. Doesn't actually
Okay.
make the he'll throw something out here about so polygamy bad. Okay, that's where we're at right
Okay.
now.
All right, kid. Let's see.
Taught in
And
the New Testament. And I'd argue it's also in Leviticus 8.
It's funny that he's talking
You're gonna
about
have to
that when
back
the
it
bulk
up.
of the New Testament was either written by Paul or someone pretending to be Paul.
Yep.
And Paul pretty notoriously was like, you know what? Don't even worry about getting married unless you just can't handle
can't
being
keep it
celibate.
in your
You just
pants.
can't, like, you're have a breakdown. Then okay,
If those
fine, I guess.
balls, if those balls are so blue,
Yeah,
you
really.
know, it's it's then you should do something about that. But otherwise, just don't worry about it because we're not here.
Yeah, we don't have time for this. Jesus
much
comes back
longer.
like real
We don't
soon.
have time. We don't have time for this bullshit. Is what
Yeah.
what Paul was saying. So
funny.
you backed it up a little
Whatever.
bit.
Yeah.
A wife or starting a family. What do you think they're going to do? Thank God Christianity outlawed polygamy early on, because we see that taught in the New Testament. And I'd argue it's also in Leviticus 18:18, but that's another topic.
Did you catch
I suspect
that?
he was thinking of whatever the ecclesiastical office is. They should be a husband of one wife. I'm like, well, that
Yes.
doesn't mean
Yes.
one wife at a time or one wife ever, because I've heard evangelicals say that either does or doesn't apply to divorce.
Oh yeah,
They can't
this
make up their
was
minds, but, you know, hey.
this was a contentious issue in the very large church that I grew up in as a teenager. There was controversy surrounding a board appointment once, because the gentleman who had been married to the same woman for well over 20 years prior to his conversion and joining the church was married before and divorced, and this was disqualifying in the eyes of many, which is interesting, right? So but that's not the issue we're dealing with here. and I'm not so interested in what the New Testament has to say on this. I am very interested that Michael thinks that he can make an argument that polygyny is a problem from the Hebrew Bible's perspective. This is quite surprising. And
I'm
he
thinking
mentioned a
of
text. Did you catch it? Did you catch the
Yeah,
one?
and I'm also thinking pretty heavily of some famous figures from the Hebrew Bible that had lots of wives
They
and
sure
concubines.
did. They sure did. Do you want to bring the text up or should I? I
We're in what, Genesis or Deuteronomy? Which one are you going to first?
No,
It's Deuteronomy,
I got
right?
it. I got it right
Oh,
here. So
Leviticus
here,
18. I see it.
Leviticus
Go ahead.
18. Okay.
Alright. Can you make the text embiggened? It's
okay.
really, really, really super tiny.
Really, really, really super tiny.
Hey everybody,
How's
this is
that?
a quick tutorial on how to use Safaria.
I wish I could make it wider. You know what I mean?
I mean, you
So
kinda can, but they obviously want to keep this formatted so people can use it on their phones. So I get why it's so narrow.
exactly. I get it. I get it. So
Yes.
it is what it is. But so Michael mentioned this text in Leviticus chapter 18, verse 18. We'll just go right there now to see what he's getting at, because I heard him say this and then I'm like, oh, really? What is that? Because I don't have it memorized, believe it or
And
not.
if
So
you
here we
close their
are.
fundraising banner at the top, the purple thing, it'll get a
Oh, that
little more
helps,
text on the
doesn't it?
screen.
Yeah. Okay, let's do.
It's the end of the year. Everybody wants money.
Brilliant. And the cookies, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Here we go. Do not take a woman as a rival to her sister and uncover her nakedness in the other's lifetime. That is the text.
Uh-oh,
So,
Jacob.
yeah. Whoopsies.
Just oop.
So this is and this is just, you know, catching people up to speed. I think everybody can see what's going on here, but this expression to uncover one's nakedness is the author of the Holiness Code. I think it's his way of talking about sex, talking about copulation. So this is this is basically what this text says. A man is not to take on a woman and her sister while they're both still living. That's a no-no. Now, what Michael seems to think that this is a text that promotes monogamy. Does this text promote monogamy?
No.
Vish? No. How could Michael arrive? This is the thing. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but our good friend, Dr. Joshua Bowen, is currently writing. Oh, look, I can close that part too. So let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, nice. Our good friend, Dr. Joshua Bowen, if he's still in the chat, is working on a commentary on the book of Leviticus. I'm actually excited to announce, I talked to him just before the stream, that Dr. Josh has found a publisher for his commentary.
Nice.
Which is very exciting.
Are we allowed to know?
I think so. I think I can tell everybody that Sheffield Phoenix wants to contract.
Hey, all right.
To publish his commentary on Leviticus. And I'm sure he absolutely floored the acquisitions editor when he told them that he figures he can get it done by the end of 2027. Because I mean, usually these guys are used to waiting for like 27 years for the delivery of a commentary.
Or 10.
So, yeah.
10.
Yeah. So but I am Josh is sorry, I'm gonna pull this down for a second. Josh is I'm just so proud of Josh. He is exceptionally talented. He's brilliant, and nobody deserves this kind of recognition as much. I don't think, for all that he's done
He's
in these
pretty smart.
spaces, in this community, for promoting, for popularizing biblical scholarship. It's very good to see him get this kind of opportunity and this kind of recognition. So, way to go, Josh. So, here we go. Yes, when Josh and I were talking about this text and we were trying to figure out what does Michael think that this text says? And
He's like, oh, this is just a principle that you shouldn't have more than one wife. That's probably where he's going with that, if I had to bet.
very generally, I think he's, at first I thought he must be interpreting achota here, which is the Hebrew word, her sister.
Mhm.
He must be interpreting that as if this is with reference to like the Benot Yisrael, that would be the daughters
Yeah, like as a
of Israel. I'm not
category
even
of
sure.
women.
I'm not even sure that's a term that that occurs in the Hebrew Bible, but it would be the female counterpart of Bnei Yisrael, which is the typical way of referring to the collective, the community of Israelites, the nation, essentially through most of the biblical texts. And part of me thought, well, he must be thinking that this is the anachota is like your fellow female Israelite, I guess. But that's not.
That still wouldn't work.
Not what the text says
whatever.
here. But then
Superchat.
I had an even better. Okay. What is it?
For the monogamy reading of Leviticus 18.
Oh,
see,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm sure that that's probably a thing.
For the audience
the
that doesn't
Damascus
know this
document.
reference.
Yes, that would be the Damascus document from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Should I take a look at that quickly? I can. I'm
Flex
sure.
those
I'm
Dead Sea
quite
Scrolls
sure.
skills.
I am quite sure that that Michael is not aware of this. But let's see. CD for what? What was it? For it's on
420.
screen, isn't it? Or was it 420? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. They shall surely reign. Okay, they're caught in two. Okay. They are caught in two. Fornication by taking two wives in their lifetimes. Although the principle of creation is male and female, he created them, from Genesis 1:27. And those who went into the ark went into the ark 2 by 2. Genesis 7:9. Concerning the leader, it is written, he shall not multiply wives to himself. Deuteronomy 17:17. But David had not read the sealed book of the law in the ark, for it was not opened in Israel from the day of the death of Eleazar and Joshua and the elders who served the goddess Ashtaroth. It lay buried and was not revealed until the appearance of Zadok. Nevertheless, the deeds of David were all excellent, except for the murder of Uriah, and God forgave him for that. They also defiled the sanctuary, for they do not separate clean from unclean according to the law, and lie with a woman during her menstrual period. Furthermore, they marry each man the daughter of his brother and the daughter of his sister, although Moses said, unto the sister of your mother you shall not draw near. She is the flesh of your mother. Leviticus 18:13. But the law of consanguinity is written for males and females alike. So if the brother's daughter uncovers the nakedness of the brother of her father, she is the flesh of her father. Also, they have corrupted their Holy Spirit, and with blasphemous language, they have reviled the statutes of God's covenant, saying they are not well founded. They continually speak of abhorrent things. Did this go to line 20? So basically, I think everybody can see this is midrash by the writer of the Damascus document on employing a variety of texts out of context, importantly, to promote his already established conviction that polygyny is probably not a good idea. Importantly,
also,
that's
for the
not
audience, midrash is something like theological riffing, using different scriptural excerpts. Like, you could call it proof texting in a way, but it's more like thematic patterning. So, like when they're riffing on an idea, they'll start pulling thematically like matching passages to kind of support their argument. So,
and the connections don't even have to be very good. They can be pretty strange.
Sometimes they're tenuous at best.
It's very, very, very creative.
Yes.
the way they go through this. So,
Yeah.
but so that is. But again, I don't think that's what Michael's doing here. I think Michael is suggesting on its own, on the face of it, Leviticus 18:18 is telling you that you should not marry more than one woman. Now and I thought, maybe based on the idea of the Constitution of the nation, I had an even more fun idea after that, and wondered if maybe he's taking like the modern term sister wife that is that the Mormons, the fundamentalist Mormons use to describe their polygynous relationships, which I like that. I like that even better. I hope that's what he's doing.
Show.
You shall not, yes, do not take a woman as a rival to her sister wife, and uncover her nakedness in the other's lifetime. Now, importantly, how do we know? How do we know that this is a text that is actually about marrying two sisters and not just two women at the same time? How would we know this, Vish?
Is it that weird inconvenient thing called context?
Yeah, it kind of is, right?
Well,
it helps. It really helps to read the whole thing, right? And I'll just go back here, starting at verse 5. You shall keep my laws, my chukotai, and my rules, the mishpatai, by the pursuit of which human beings shall live. I am Yahweh. This is an important verse. Ish el kol she'er basaro. None of you men shall come near anyone of his own flesh to uncover nakedness. Don't do incest stuff, is what this says here. Don't do incest stuff. And it follows up.
And that is very literal, like your own flesh. So
yes. Your father's nakedness, that is the nakedness of your mother, you shall not uncover. Don't uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is the nakedness of your father. The nakedness of your sister, your father's daughter. The nakedness of your son's daughter and your daughter's daughter. Don't do that. The nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, who was born into your father's household. Don't do that. Don't uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. Don't uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister. Don't uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You see a pattern developing here, I hope, right? Don't uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law. Don't uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife. Here we go. Don't uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. And then don't take into the household as a wife a woman who is a rival of her sister and uncover her.
Even if they're not blood related, you still can't marry two siblings.
Yeah. But importantly, if you actually understood the text in the goddamn context, Michael Jones, you would see that this is all about incest and intrafamilial relationships. Okay? That's how we know. This absolutely has nothing to do with polygamy. It does not. But and more to the point, we can look at these more briefly. Do you have some of these other ones pulled up here?
Yeah.
What's the first one I've got?
And also, the deeds were good. Says Tad is mad. Except for all the murder.
Yeah, all the murder.
Yeah,
that was bad.
sexually assaulting Bathsheba. God let him off the hook for that. But the murder was a step too far. And also, I did want to say this because I've seen some chatter in the chat.
Okay.
Michael Jones and the framing of this debate is about polygamy specifically, which is like one guy with multiple women. Kip and I specifically were referring to polyamory, which is a consenting adults with any number of other consenting adults. We're not trying to say like, oh, it's only okay when a guy is like, no, it's adults. Yep. Free will consenting. So
free will consenting.
So
I you know,
enthusiastic consent.
My my wife and I for a while used to watch some of these shows on like Discovery or Bravo, the circus networks.
Oh yeah.
there's a bunch of these, right, about polygamous and polyamorous relationships, and I mean some of them work. And most people do this, you know, lots of people featured on these shows for religious reasons and convictions, lots of fundamentalist Mormons, but importantly, not everyone. There's just a bunch of people who have different ideas of what constitutes a really healthy, productive family life, and they make it work. So yeah, I don't know.
Again, just none of my business.
Right? None of my business.
Other shit to worry about.
It's not. Okay.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 21:15. If a man has 2 wives, I mean, do I need to say anything more? Do I need to go on? I mean, I will.
To me,
one
no.
loved and the other unloved, and both the loved and the unloved have borne him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the unloved one. When he wills his property to his sons, he may not treat as firstborn the son of the loved one in disregard of the son of the unloved one who is older. Instead, he must accept the firstborn, the son of the unloved one, and allot him a double portion of all he possesses, since he is the fruit, the first fruit of his vigor. Yeah. The birthright is his due.
Also, I forgot that I'm using the 85 JPS, so if you want me to change the translation, I can do that.
No. That's my preference.
Okay.
I'm happy for that.
The 1985 JPS?
Yeah.
Because there's like a couple
the
of
1917 and the 1985. Really? Is there an updated edition?
I thought. Yeah, there's a 2023 revised one.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that one's fun too.
Actually, let's try that. That one seems like it would be pretty good. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Very importantly here, though, this is a legislation that assumes the normativity of polygamy. This is not an instruction to not have multiple wives. It assumes that a man is in this situation with multiple wives and provides instructions on what to do in this situation. Should we look at what's next? Genesis 1?
Okay.
I think Genesis 1:26.
All right, let's do verse 26. And there we go.
All right. This is a famous one. Let us make humankind.
Oh, God, sorry.
No,
there we go. Hobby.
Let us make humankind in our image. After our likeness, they shall rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the cattle, the whole earth, and all the creeping things that creep on the earth. And God created humankind in the divine image, creating it in the image of God, creating them male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, be fertile and increase, fill the earth and master it. In my translation, in my book, I say bring it to heel. Fill the earth. Fill it. You know the best way to do that?
Have a lot of kids.
Have a lot of kids. And one of the surest ways to see that through is to have a lot of wives who are pregnant a lot of the time. That's just how this works. This
I mean,
is
yeah, and this is something that a lot of commentators talk about, is that this is a narrative of like domination, not just of like eventually women, but the whole like of nature. All the
Yes.
animals, the environment around you, you know. So you don't have to be comfortable with this, and you obviously don't have to take this as like a dictate for all time. Also, my personal take on this is like, whenever people get like, oh, I can't believe you don't want to have kids, or women that don't have, like, shut up. There's over 8 billion people. I think we achieved this goal.
We're fine. I
Okay,
think. Yes,
we're good.
It's okay.
It's just,
This
how many more humans can we make with the
this.
resources that we have? Like, good grief.
There is also
Ugh.
this very strange attachment within Christian apologetic spaces arguing for the merits of a Christian society. There is this very strange attachment to birthrights, as if we're
That's
in
always
danger.
a dog whistle. There are
But
no
yes,
other
this
things.
is exactly what it is. This is just the great replacement. That's all this is. So all right, last one, 2 Samuel 12, chapter
All
verse
right.
7. So this is, speaking of David.
Oh, hey.
Speaking of David, this is Yahweh's rebuke of David by way of the prophet Nathan. After he sexually assaulted Bathsheba and murdered her man Uriah. Nathan said to David, "That man is you. Thus says
Hang on a sec.
Yahweh."
Pause. We're not saying that scripture says slavery is not okay. This channel is well known
sure.
for saying, like, no, the text actually legislates it and supports it. Like, I don't know where you got that, but that not here.
Yeah. Maybe
Anyway,
he's talking to
proceed.
someone else in the chat. I don't know. But that, no. Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, it was I who anointed you king over Israel, speaking to David. And it was I who rescued you from the hand of Saul. I gave you your master's house and possession of your master's women. I gave you the house of Israel and Judah, and if that were not enough, I would give you twice as much more. Yahweh gave David the harem of Saul. He gave it to him and said, I would have given you twice as much. Clearly.
But you had to go and F it up.
Yeah. The point being, clearly, this is not a God. This is not a text who has any compunction about polygamy. It's not an issue. It's not something anyone is mandating again. It's promoted. It is accommodated. It is possibly encouraged. It's
almost like these texts reflect the societal values of the time.
Time and place. This is just what was happening. All right. Let's I think we've got that one looked after.
Okay.
So let's continue on this this next point of the video. I believe this is where Michael draws attention to his very fancy tattoos.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, now he says this is a Mossad tattoo. This is Hosea 4:6.
Could you pause it for a second?
I'm sorry,
this is,
a Mossad
sorry.
tattoo?
Yeah. Okay, so Junior in earlier in the debate pointed out the tattoo, and because Junior doesn't read Hebrew, he's like, boy, and bear in mind, his family has just endured genocide at the hands of the IDF.
Yes.
For 2 years, and he's like, I sure hope, are you like, what is that? You've got Hebrew text on your forearm. What is that? Are you a Mossad agent? Are you part of the are you part of the problem here? Yeah, super stupid shit, right? But that's where this comes from. Michael's got to explain now his
Mossad
His tattoo. Yes, his tattoo.
Like, I was talking to a Muslim friend of mine who lives nearby, and we were just like, we spent the whole afternoon together, and she was telling me like a lot of people from the region, their only experience with any Jew whatsoever are Israelis, and frequently the IDF. So when they, in their parlance, talk about Yahud this or Jews this, in their mind, it's just that limited experience of like Israeli soldiers generally.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I do have to like kind of correct them that if they're not specifically talking about like Israelis, don't just say Jew, because that doesn't just go both ways. So she was like, people frequently, you'll see this on social media, is people who are rightfully aggrieved at the genocidal actions of the state of Israel will kind of make these blanket statements that this is a fake thing, or your identity's not real, or this language is made up, or they'll just, it's a way to push back against like the oppressive tactics. And I'm like, okay, look, we know it's a fake state. All states are fake. All of them. They didn't just emerge this way. They didn't evolve. People made them. They're made up. All languages are made up.
All of them.
They didn't always exist, So what people think they're doing and what they're actually doing is usually not the same. And when Bro was saying like, that's a Mossad tattoo, like the Mossad doesn't own Hebrew. So I get why he's probably very upset. But it's
sure.
like, dude.
And
really?
I think sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. So Tad brought it up. Okay, Michael is allowed to be upset about this. Yes. No question.
It's
but
just
this
funny
is
to me.
this
I'm
is
not mad at
it is. But this is not the issue that I want to draw attention to. This is what follows is what we should talk about.
He'll explain it. Let's go.
Mossad write the Bible? Isn't it sacred scripture for Christians? Wasn't it written in Hebrew? Okay, great. And by the way, Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed
Not
for
a
lack."
single person in the audience can
James.
read.
Do you hear what he said there, though? And I think this is a good point. Not a single person here can read what's on your arm, Michael. You know who else can't read what's on his arm?
I want him to read it in Hebrew.
Do
Do you think
we
he can
all
do it by now?
He can't. No. I mean, why would he be able to do this?
Come on, really?
I don't know.
Come on, Mike. I'm trying to throw you a bone here, man.
Pronounce it. Yeah. But
all right,
Michael Jones cannot read that tattoo on his arm. He cannot.
How does he know that it's all correctly?
Fortunately, it is correct. I mean, it's
he knows
it's accurate, but does he know that? Would he have known that?
Because I have
if the tattoo artist had made a mistake, would he have recognized that and been saying, whoa, no.
No, because I had a boss once that came home from some vacation with a Hebrew tattoo, and she was so excited to show it to me because she knew that I was like at least somewhat literate in it. And she was like, look at this. And I read it out loud, and she goes, it means something. And I was like, no, it doesn't. She was like, yeah, it does. And I was like, no, that's gibberish. That doesn't say that at all. And it was like one of the easy letters that you can get confused with a different one, like hey and het kind of stuff. And
sure, yeah.
She was like, but my tattoo artist was Jewish. And I was like, okay, that doesn't mean that he knows how to draw, read, or speak Hebrew. Like,
it's like
she was so mad at me that I pointed it out. And I'm like, you got it. You got a foreign language you can't speak or read tattooed on your body.
It's like it's like that picture you sent me, and I was so confused for the longest time about the Hebrew butterfly tattoo. Yeah.
Hebrew butterfly tattoo. Oh God.
So yes,
for the audience, they literally spelled it in the sense of like butter, the food, and then a fly, an insect.
It's a rule. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
So but
anywho,
what Junior said there, no one in the room can read your tattoo, and he's probably right. He's probably right. And that includes this chucklehead. Michael Jones cannot read that tattoo on his arm. And I think it's ironic. Let's just listen to him finish up here, shall we,
Okay.
Vish?
That.
Constrained to just Mike speaking during Mike's rebuttal.
Yeah, thank you. Can you give me a little more time there? Yeah, this is Hosea 4:6. My
I can't believe he actually moderated. I am gobsmacked. I have a very low opinion of their moderator. Sorry. I can't believe he actually intervened. I'm actually shocked. So
people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I have it on there to remind me so I don't make opening statements like that.
I'm just going to stare directly into the camera for a second. What a hilarious cell phone. Self-own, for those of you who watch this later. Woo!
My people,
All right.
my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Right?
Love it. Shall we continue?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Right. He says there's hadith that forbid hitting women. He's right. This is the problem with the hadith. They're filled with contradictions. If you want to find a hadith that allows muta marriage, you can find it. If you want one that outlaws it, you can find it. I'm just simply pointing out.
This is okay. So
Hell thing to say when the Bible has contradictions in it. Like, what are you doing?
It was by accident that I packed all the irony into the one clip.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But think about this. Michael's argument against the fidelity of Islamic theology and text is that you can find a text in the Hadith or the Quran to support anything because it all contradicts each other. Holy fuck, dude. Have you read the Bible? Have you read it?
I'm fairly confident that Mike doesn't know about the standardization of the Quranic text. That we have almost no variants because there was a concerted intentional effort to get rid of variants so that you could have one like streamlined version. So I don't know if he would engage with that at all, but
I don't know. I'm just I did everything the Bible told me to, even the stuff that contradicts the other stuff. Ned Flanders graduated from Oral Roberts University, and he understands this.
Yeah, this is it. See, reading my mind.
Yeah,
Lawrence. Yeah,
and the
doesn't know about the
reduction
or
the counter-recension.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is seriously, I had to include that because oh my god, dude, you exhaust yourself in the defense of the text against people who are pointing this out to you all the goddamn time. Apologetics thrives on this idea, this misbespoke idea. Sorry, I have to pull it up now because I'm thinking of it. It survives on
univocal voice.
That's it. No. And most Christians are aware of this, recognize this, operate and function under these parameters of plurivocality. It's like saying Luther says one thing and the Pope says another, therefore Christianity is false. Yes, it is. It is. It's not. It's why would you think that this standard works fine for Christianity, but not
because
for
it's
Islam?
Convenient to my side of the argument. It's rules for thee, not for me.
That is
Gosh,
that
kid.
is the grift. That is the
That's
grift.
how debates work.
It's true. All right. So the irony that was it. That was all the irony. And
Okay.
now we're going to get into the child marriage stuff. This is where things get weird with the child marriage stuff and the age of consent and those sorts of things. As a way to promote the benefits of Christianity against Islam. So again,
I can't wait.
hmm,
Here we go. Ready?
Michael, you literally didn't tell me what the age of marriage is in the Bible.
Because in the Bible, we have virtue ethics. Do you know what that is?
So he didn't answer because there isn't one.
there isn't one.
I love this. I love this. Good job, Mike. You could have just said, yeah, there's not one. At least you would be honest.
Yes, it would. He can't be honest though.
Virtue ethics. This is going to be painful. Why did you get... Couldn't you have spread the irony out throughout? God. Okay.
But on
Virtue
that
ethics.
note,
You know what that is?
There's not a single verse that mentions virtue ethics in the Bible.
That's because it's
also
called an interpretation.
So you're
Kind of like how
you're a
Tawhid is
heretic?
There's also not a verse in there that says, this is interpretation. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is the New Testament that says, well, no verses of in private interpretation, no prophecies of private interpretation.
I'm just in my well now there's potentially in Ezekiel reinterprets, and he tells you he's doing it. Ezekiel reinterprets the rule about the sins of the fathers and how they set the teeth of the children on edge.
Right.
He reinterprets, and he tells you he's doing that, right? So maybe there's one place. One place in the entire text, but no. I mean, it's a good point though, Vish. It really is. It's not really a thing. On that, I do need to pull this up. Tad highly doubts
Highly
that.
doubt.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that could be.
It's the last of
So,
the intentional irony, I guess.
it's the last of
Anyway.
the intentional irony. There we go.
Yeah. All right.
in the
Right
Quran,
now?
right?
Are you heretically preaching right now?
Only if Tawhid is heretical, because it's not in the Quran.
Tawhid is heretical.
And I don't
Wow.
know anything about this part.
Doesn't
So,
know anything about Islam. Okay.
I'm asking you, if it doesn't say the specific words, does that mean it's a heresy? So if you
He
go
is
to
the
Ezekiel,
most firm.
if you
and
go
does
to
not
it,
depend on anyone, and he has no partners.
okay.
This is
done?
a Quran chapter,
Oh.
okay?
That is
that
irrelevant.
literally speaks
Irrelevant.
about Tawhid.
Okay, if you want to know
But you're
about
gonna
what
ignore
the
it.
If you don't know what the Bible says,
Because you don't
about
care.
James.
What is
Go ahead.
this? Is
I do
back
want-
and forth.
I do
What are you
want- I do
complaining
want
to
to-
James about?
I do want to go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that.
By the way, pause it for a second. I don't mind picking on Michael like I used to, because he is really
I
just
do.
a smug, arrogant asshole.
I'm also
You
a
mind
hater.
picking on him?
I do.
No, you don't mind.
I mean,
picking on him.
I mind in this. I don't. Okay, you said you don't mind in the sense like
I don't mind
you.
picking on him.
Okay, you know what? I don't mind either.
I'm happy with picking on him. Are you?
Same.
Yeah. See, right? Because he is a smug, arrogant asshole. He just is. In this entire exchange, and the fact that there's so much confidence about so many things that you understand so poorly
Confidently
is
incorrect.
just, yeah. It's he's just saying this stuff with his full chest.
And then he has to cry to
with
James, the
that-
non-moderator, to like bail him out because he can't actually like debate. He wants someone to go, Dad, he's talking over me. Kemal Gregor challenged apologists to find
Friend
one
of the
contradiction in Islamic text and he could harmonize it.
It's a good challenge.
I mean,
I'm
really
interested
good
to know.
apologists can harmonize just about anything. It doesn't mean that they
You can harmonize
be, like-
anything. You literally can. It just, the harmonizations often are going to suck,
Yeah.
as they do when apologists make these arguments. You know,
Mm.
it's that's just how this works. That's how we end up in a situation where Mary's and Joseph's genealogies apparently are both preserved
Yeah.
in the Gospels,
Except they're not. But yeah.
yeah, they're not.
Because I tried that. I
So
tried to make them work, and
Mhm.
I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
And that was
Can't
one of
do
the
it.
things that got the little snowball running downhill. So
Yeah.
weird.
All right.
So
So let's
swell
let's
fellow.
listen to this.
So he talks about age of consent in the Bible. We can go to Ezekiel 16. So
There
here's
is no age of consent in the
bet.
Bible. Period.
Pause for a
James.
second.
Correct.
He is, yes,
There's
100% correct. There is no age of consent in the Bible. Interesting. Now, this is something that I surprised me a little bit after watching it a couple times, that they're both talking about. I don't think they mean to say age of consent. I think what they're talking about is age of meritable age, which is turned
that's a
into
different
age of consent.
thing.
It is.
Well, and that's a different thing because consent is like a modern innovation in terms of
That
these
too.
things. And
That too.
the only quote consent that mattered at the time was the father's. That's it.
Yeah.
He's the one that gave
Yeah.
you permission to take his daughter to marry, quote unquote. So
To couple with.
yeah, the
Yeah.
woman certainly didn't have
No.
a choice in that.
So this is a very interesting pivot to start to focus on age of consent. What's even more interesting, and we're going to get into this, is, and this surprised the hell out of me, to go to Ezekiel chapter 16 to make your point, which is what Michael is about to do.
Oh, great. This is irony. Actually, if they're talking about ages of consent and what's defensible, considering how he totally backed up David Wood.
That's
Here
very
we go.
true.
All right. Do you want me to get to Ezekiel, or do you want to let him get to it first?
Let's he doesn't actually, we will look at the text on our own, but let's listen to how he thinks this through.
I do want to give Mike a chance to finish his sentence though. So if he's mid-sentence, that's where it's.
Thank you, James. You're a swell fellow over there. All right. So Ezekiel 16, we see an analogy between God and Israel. Okay. And this is where it talks about, and scholars have noted
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I knew you were gonna stop it there.
Right wingers, let me just make an appeal to you really quick. We know that you don't like Democrats. That's not a secret. When you come up with clever dog whistles, they need to actually do the thing that you think that they're doing. When someone says, "Let's go, Brandon," meaning fuck Joe Biden, that's not clever. Let's go, Brandon. There's not actually a reason for you to hide the fuck Joe Biden, unless you're so scandalized by someone saying the word fuck that you had to flip it around to an ironic, "Let's go, Brandon." And they always just laugh and think they're so clever. They're the right can't meme. I know that that's like overdone as a catchphrase, but it is honestly. And I'm not surprised that you have freaking Trumpers in the room. That's Michael's like
so many, like
fundraising base right there.
So many.
Good grief.
Yeah. All right.
And scholars have noted this. I noted this in my debate with Daniel Kikachu, that what the Bible says is lovemaking cannot occur until after puberty is complete. So
was that the exact phrase that they used?
Well, love making is there. Time for love literally is what it says. But puberty complete? And we'll look at it. We will take
Okay.
a look.
Okay. All right. Ugh.
it talks about when I pass by you again, behold, you are at age for love. And it talks about this is after puberty is complete. You read starting from verse 5 and you read to verse 8. You'll see that. So scholars have noted this. So when is puberty complete for girls? It's not complete until the ages of 15 to 17.
That depends. Let's go to Ezekiel. I feel gross. Okay. What verse?
We're just going right there. Ezekiel chapter 16, starting in verse 5. Before we get to that, I just have a couple things to read here while you're pulling that up. Roland DeVoe. Maybe I'll let's drop. I'm gonna drop this off the screen for now. Roland DeVoe. Ancient Israel, its life. Ancient Israel, its life and institutions. Is an old book, but it is a classic book. Still quite relevant in many respects. He's got a section in here called Choosing the Bride. The very first sentence in Choosing the Bride is, the Bible gives no information about the age at which girls were married.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah. So that's and he goes on, he's got a couple more things to say about that. It's not super important. That's the most important thing. The Bible has no information about how old people were when they got married.
Mr. Krynen in the chat says, depends on how you define puberty. I think you meant puberty with a B in the middle there. In music theory, you learn that women don't reach their post-pubescent voice till 30.
Oh, that is interesting.
I can't confirm or deny because I was not in the choral program for my music degree. I'm a percussionist. All I do is hit stuff. But I can tell you that women's voices do deepen over time. So I think Michael may not want to talk so much about biology in that front. But anyway.
Perhaps,
all right,
perhaps not. This is Life in Biblical Israel by Philip J. King and Lawrence Stagger. This is a book that I used to teach from in some of my classes. It's quite good. He's got a section in here. They've got a section in here on marriage, and I will just I'll just read the third paragraph here. It is difficult to determine the age of the bride and groom at the time of marriage. The Bible provides no specific information on this subject. As indicated above, it is safe to assume the bride was considerably younger than the groom, and childbearing would have begun soon after puberty. So, somehow, we're in Ezekiel chapter 16 to explain why the Bible mandates an age of consent. And starting at so this is maybe even just maybe let's just go back to the beat. We'll just read the whole thing from verse 1 just to get whoops. Did you mean to do that?
What?
Oh, I was talking about the text. Go back to Ezekiel 18 verse 1. Sorry about that.
Mobby. Switch tabs.
So
I'm also pulling up another thing to share. Go ahead.
Okay. Here we go. So maybe just scroll up to the beginning of the chapter just to get our bearings here. This is a text. This is a super troubling text. This is one of those texts when you read the Bible, afterwards you feel kind of sick and dirty, and you wonder if what you read is something that you actually had just read. And you really don't feel like you should have to read it again, ever. So this is an oracle that, by the way, this is the longest oracle in the entire book of Ezekiel. It's maybe one of the longest individual oracles, prophetic oracles in the entire Bible. Not sure about that, but it's freaking enormous. And just reading starting at the top here, the word of Yahweh came to me. Oh man, oh human, proclaim Jerusalem's abominations to her, and say, thus said Yahweh God, to Jerusalem. By origin and birth, you are from the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite and your mother a Hittite. As for your birth, when you were born, your navel cord was not cut, and you were not bathed in water to smooth you. You were not rubbed with salt, nor were you swallowed. No one pitied you enough to do any one of these things for you out of compassion for you. On the day you were born, excuse me, you were left lying, rejected in the open field. When I passed by you and saw you wallowing in your blood, I said to you, live in spite of your blood. Yea, I said to you, live in spite of your blood. I let you grow like the plants of the field, and you continued to grow up until you attained to womanhood. So this is verse 6 here. Just pause on this for a second. This is I let you grow like the plants of the field. It literally says, I gave to you and you grew and became big. And then it says this, vatavoi ba'adi adayim. This is a seriously problematic text. It's pretty corrupt. And we'll get into that in a second. But what JPS says is that this is you grew up until you attain to womanhood.
Robert R.
Meaning of Hebrew, uncertain. Uncertain. Yes.
Sorry, I just thought of that meme.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Until your breasts became firm and your hair sprouted, you were still naked and bare. When I passed by you again and saw that your time for love had arrived, so I spread my robe over you and covered your nakedness, and I entered into a covenant with you by oath, declares Yahweh God. Thus you became mine. So, I honestly, I feel, Vish, maybe we should let Michael explain himself before we continue.
Itech eat 8 Dodim. Is that where they're getting?
Yeah, your time
for dearness or preciousness or
loving. It's loving.
Loving.
It's your time for loving. Yeah.
Adoration. I
Probably
guess
loving. Like it's
This is weird. This is gross. I hate this passage like a lot.
I know. Do you want to? Can you put Michael back on the screen for a minute just to finish his explanation here? I'm sorry.
Okay. Sure.
That's why we legally assign adulthood at 18. That's the age right after. So if you're
except that's just the United States, and it hasn't always been that way. So yeah, I know that he's a United States citizen.
He's a United Statesian.
But
you're going to go on the principles of the Bible. Sex cannot occur until after puberty is complete.
It doesn't say anything about puberty being complete.
He says sex cannot occur until puberty is complete.
No.
Right? Let him finish.
Also, like when it starts, that varies. But when is it complete? Seriously, what does that even mean?
He's got
based on the principles of the Bible. When is that basically done? 18, because again, it's completed during the...
No, it doesn't say 18, and you can't use the United States freaking code of law to retcon back like 15 no, it would be more than that. However many centuries ago it was until the Bible was compiled. That's ridiculous. Oh my God. Also, the age of consent in many states is not 18.
It's quite a bit lower than that, I think, right? Yeah. Okay.
So
let him
ages
finish.
of 15 to 17, that's when hip development is complete. That's why we sign adulthood to 18, because that's right.
That's not actually why we did.
So principles of the Bible.
Hey, Mike, I'd like to see your sources on the scientific basis for these laws, because I'm skeptical for now.
I am also skeptical.
That they were like, the science says that the hips are complete, like forming and all this other stuff, and that's why we should make it 18. I find that claim dubious, so I'd like to see some sources, please.
Based on God's analogy in Ezekiel 16, okay, he doesn't pass by Jerusalem until after all of that is complete, till she's fully formed, is what he's
Fully formed.
Does this say fully formed?
It says.
It says you grow up until you
grew up.
attained to womanhood, but that's.
We got to get into that. Whatever that is, because nobody knows. Importantly, until your breasts became firm and your hair sprouted, pubic hair, probably, right?
Yeah, it's probably pubic hair.
That's it.
Yeah.
Your time for loving is when your breasts are firm and you've got you're showing pubic hair is, and whatever the attain to womanhood.
Yeah,
is
I'm not seeing any indication of completeness.
No.
Like down here, if he wants to argue that whatever like 8 dodim means, which is I guess where that's going.
I think it's fairly clear. I that's maybe the clearest part of this. I'm pretty sure this is time for love is a solid. This is how almost everybody translates this text. That's how when I look at it, it's time for lovers. Really. This is
sexy time.
It's sexy time. That's right. So yeah, it's yeah. So important, but a couple important things that he said there. He's got like a few seconds. Maybe just let him finish up, and then I'll have some things to say. I'm sorry.
He says so. There's the age of consent.
There it is. There it is. That is the age of consent, guys. Complete. The completion of puberty, right?
Completion.
And very importantly, he did say that this was this was the regulation. That this was the instruction. This is based on the analogy of Yahweh. This is God. This is such bullshit. It just is. Yeah.
What's the speed limit in your area?
I don't know. Like where? It's local. Like local roads is 50.
Okay.
Some roads is 60.
Kilometers an hour. Okay. So let's just go 50. Have you ever seen people driving faster than 50?
I have.
But it's against the law.
It's true. So
I don't understand, but the law says you can't go over 50. So why would people be driving over the speed limit? It's the law.
Yeah. And you know what happens, Vish, is lots of times when people drive over that speed limit, they nothing. They don't get pulled over or charged or anything. Oftentimes that happens. Unless you're my son
doesn't sound plausible.
And you were caught driving 70 kilometers over the speed limit. Then you get your license suspended and your car impounded. So, yeah. Yes. So, put the text back up.
Okay.
And let's talk. I mentioned this. First of all, there's some pretty serious textual difficulties with this text. This expression in verse 5. Let me just see it so I can yeah, this one here. Oh, too far.
Wait. So this
verse
is
7. Sorry, verse 7.
Yeah.
7, not 5.
Yeah.
The ba'adi adayim. Vatavoi ba'adi adayim. Literally, it is like
comes
you
up.
Came or it came. You came into. Literally, it's like the adornments of the adornments of adornments. It doesn't make any sense to our ears, and lots of scholars have worked on fixing this. So I've got a couple of commentaries here that I'll read from.
Okay.
The first is Walter Zamerli in Hermania. And this is translated this is the English translation of his German commentary. He says the Masoretic text, Ba'adi Adayim, with the highest adornment according to Theodotion, he translated this as Eis Kosmon Kosmon, which is like into cosmos of cosmos or cosmetics of cosmetics, something like that,
Huh.
right? This is misunderstood by the Old Greek and Lucentian, I think is the way you say it, as a result of a confusion of Resh and Dalet as Eispoles Poleon, which is into the city of cities. You came into the cities of cities.
Jewel of
by
jewels,
cutting,
or
yeah, something like that. By cutting out the first adi as ditography, we must read. So this is the way Zimmerli prefers to read it. Vatavi ba'adim. Isaiah 64:5, he says, attests to edim as a designation for a woman's monthly menstruation. See also the Arabic adad, to number. The construction bo ba'adim, which has an analogy in the usage of bo bayamim. So that's the construction coming into menstruation has an analogy in the usage of coming into days in Genesis 18:11, 24:1, Joshua 13:1. Also coming into years in Samuel 17 verse 12. He says this is to be preferred to the clumsier bo adim. The two members of Vatavo Be'idim fits better into the two member clauses of the context than her coming into the time that he suggests also coming. It's possible to read this as a corruption of she came into the time of her menstruation by changing the first adi into ba'at as a textual corruption. He says that's graphically equally worthy of consideration. And of the text, he goes on to say this: the rava, which means to increase or to grow, is then only further unfolded in the meaning of become great. And Vataravi is parallel to Vagadalai. So she grew up, she became great. It denotes growing to the threshold of maturity and childbearing in a woman. As regards bodily growth, the marks of adulthood, pubic hair, he says menstruation, appear as signs of a future blessing of fertility. All this, however, takes place at first still in a childhood ignorance and on a purely physical basis. See the analogous phase of awakening to life in 37 verses 7 to 8. So that's Zimmerli. Daniel Block is like an evangelical commenter on the Bible. He does some things that are quite good, though. And here's what he has to say. The Masoretic text with the adornment of adornments is generally interpreted as expressing the superlative degree, like Sir Hasirim, the most beautiful song, or Kodesh Kadoshim, the most holy, Melakim, the highest king. Despite, he says, despite Swain Poel's preference, and you came into the most beautiful ornaments, he says that's incomprehensible. I would agree. He points out the Septuagint again into the city of cities as, the result of thinking that this is a textual corruption. Edim as edim, which is the Hebrew word for city or cities, in the Vorlage, which I take, he says, as a misreading of ba'ari, ari'im, completely nude. Hence, the Masoretic text seems to have misread the reshes as dalets in the last two words. Many delete ba'adi as a ditography, as Zimmerli did, right? Or amend ba'etidim as ba'idim in BHS in the time of menstruation. That was Zimmerli's suggestion. Block doesn't like that, and I think I agree with Block here. Greenberg rejects the latter as unlikely in the present erotic context. A Talmudic midrash conflates these two apparent textual variants, flock of flocks, with compare. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically, I think you've got two reasonable options here. It could be either you grew up and matured and arrived completely nude, as Block has suggested, or it could be you grew up and matured and menstruation arrived. Those are your options. I think the best ones. The point being, there's lots of questions, even just about what this text says. You're really going to start building cases on the basis of this about, the mandated age of sexual maturity, the age of consent, says Michael. The text says the breasts were firm. That's it. Doesn't say anything about, that's kind of a qualitative judgment. Your hair sprouted. You were completely nude. Then I passed you by and saw, look, your time was the time of lovers. All this is doing is recognizing physical maturity out of childhood into what we would classify as adolescence. In the ancient world, there was no such thing. There was childhood and there was adulthood. And this was very much because one of the reasons why there's no mandated ages on these things of when you should get married, when you should start having sex, is because they didn't think in those terms. For them, it was all about the signs of maturity. So long as you looked like a woman, you were a woman at that point. And what age does that occur at? It's clearly the same for every woman, right, Vish? Everyone. Exactly the same. Just right across the board. 18 years old, I believe, is when he said. Seriously, I don't know if you guys caught it in the video, but the argument Michael makes here is that at 18 years old is when the hip has fully developed, and that's what he says. That's why.
They definitely knew that.
They totally knew this, right? The ancient Hebrews were completely aware of female hip development and at what age that's finished. Yeah. Again, like, miss me with that bullshit. That is nonsense.
Right.
That is utter nonsense.
Like, I'm absolutely willing to grant that this passage is talking about the onset of puberty. Like, that seems pretty clear.
Absolutely.
Like,
that is clear.
Whatever ba'adim or
whatever it means.
Adim, whatever it means, they go on to clarify until your breasts become firm, your hair sprouted, So these are signs of puberty, which that's fine. I don't see any problem with that. That can happen, honestly, at frighteningly young ages, but it does vary quite a bit between women. It can vary based on a lot of factors, but that seems like, okay, that's where they're using, criteria to determine this. And that's pretty, it's pretty common across a lot of cultures, I've noticed, is that puberty kind of is the indication that someone has transitioned into adulthood or is transitioning into adulthood. So there's been a lot of comments in the chat regarding like marriage age. And I was gonna say that, people even today marry their kids off really young, and that was not uncommon for a very, very, very long time.
Oh, no.
I do a lot of genealogy work, as people might know, and I can't tell you the number of times that I read marriage records where the girl's 15. I found one for one of my, great whatever grandmothers. The civil record says she was 14, but the church record for that exact same marriage says 26. And I was like,
holy,
what?
Wow. Interesting.
What? Yeah, and I'm
What
like,
is-
okay, so
oh,
like the age gap isn't super problematic if she's 26. Like that's reasonable. Like 26 is fine.
sure.
But I was like,
Yeah.
14?
14.
Like that.
Yeah.
If you know a 14, they're children. That is a child.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yes.
Even if she had hit puberty, that's still a child. It's gross.
Yes.
But,
Yes. And importantly, you're not like Michael's going to retreat on a regular basis through the course of these discussions here as that follow into what happens on average. But that's not what we're dealing with when we're dealing with the ancient world, because these things, if they're just looking for like physical signs of things happening, who knows why the gods do the things they do. I guess it's time, right? It's there is no control here over how old, in this analogy, the personified Jerusalem is. There's no control at all on it.
Yeah.
We have
this one's saying
no
that
idea.
14 in the Middle East 80 years ago. I mean, less than 100 years ago in the United States, 14, depending on what community you were in, would sometimes be considered an adult. Because, I mean, if you're working on a farm, you grow up fast. So,
Yeah, you do.
yeah.
Now, I want to one of the reasons why it's so troubling to me. So let's clear that out of the way. There is no age of consent. There is no maritable age provided in the Bible, period. It's not there. You will never find it because it's not there. That's the first thing. The second thing, this text does nothing at all towards demonstrating that anyone in this culture, that the author of the book of Ezekiel was especially concerned about the fullness of female maturity at the time of copulation. This text does nothing towards that. And finally, what the fuck are we doing in Ezekiel chapter 16? Because those are the first 9 verses in this 66 verse oracle, and we're not going to read the whole thing, but maybe just jump down to let's see, verse. Let me pull up my notes here. Verse 35. And what happens here? So this is a parable that Ezekiel tells, in which Yahweh sees Jerusalem is personified as an infant who is discarded, thrown away, left to die in the wilderness, but survives. And Yahweh watches her grow up. And when she finally enters, when she makes him horny, he decides she's mine. He flowers. He lavishes her with gifts. He looks after her. And through the course of this parable, she spurns him. She is extremely promiscuous. She ignores his affections, and he is very angry and very jealous because of this. And because he's angry and jealous at his young bride, who is flaunting her beauty and sleeping around and
Maybe
disrespecting him.
Someone that's like really, really, really freaking young, because they might grow up a little and decide that they could have other prospects.
Yeah. But we're going to look at this starting in verse 35 here. Yahweh speaking to Jerusalem. Now, harlot, zonah, prostitute, whore, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said Yahweh God, because of your brazen effrontery, offering your nakedness to your lovers for harlotry, just like the blood of your children, which you gave to all your abominable fetishes. Yeah, that is actually, so that's called Giluli. You see that called Gilulai to
Right here.
avotecha. It's literally like your abominable pieces of shit. Your abominable shit gods. That's what the text says there.
Fuck shit.
Yeah.
Chingaderas.
I will assuredly assemble all the lovers to whom you gave your favors, along with everybody you accepted. Are you transfixed?
I was looking, no, because the word right
words?
after that is tie.
Yeah, your abominations. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Okay.
No, other way.
You said up.
I did. Sorry, I meant you scroll
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Continue
Okay.
onwards. Yeah. Okay.
I will assuredly assemble all the lovers to whom you gave your favors, along with everybody you accepted and everybody you rejected. I will assemble them against you from every corner, and I will expose your nakedness to them, and they shall see all your nakedness.
That's what she wanted to happen. But okay.
Probably
no, that's fine.
not under.
Not all the people, I guess. The
Forced.
ones she rejected didn't. But public humiliation, putting himself in the cup chair, that's a choice.
I will inflict upon you the punishment of women who commit adultery and murder, and I will direct bloody and impassioned fury against you. I will deliver you into their hands, and they shall tear down your eminence and level. Those are like your phallic images. And level your mounds, and they shall strip you of your clothing and take away your dazzling jewels, leaving you naked and bare.
Huh. I'm trying to parse this real quick. Like,
I would love to take the time to do this, but we don't really have time to do that part. Okay. So then they shall assemble a mob against you to pelt you with stones and pierce you with swords, and they shall put your houses to flames and execute punishment against you. So the point I want to make here is that actually, sorry, I do need to finish this. They shall the punishment with the sight. They shall execute punishment on you in the sight of many women. Thus I will put a stop to your harlotry, and you shall pay no more fees. When I have satisfied my fury upon you, and my rage has departed from you, then I will be tranquil. I will be angry no more. The point I want to make here, very unpleasantly, Yahweh's making her smoke the whole pack. Yeah, but
yeah.
Michael Jones, what the fuck are you doing using this text to mandate best practices in sexual relationships? Is that what we're doing here? Really? Maybe once in a while, read the whole goddamn text and stop treating it like an object. Like, it just boggles the mind that he thinks this was a good idea, or that this is somehow functional towards protecting young women. There is nothing consensual in this entire passage.
Nope.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, because I mean, he goes, well, you didn't remember the days of your youth, but you pissed me off, and I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
It's like, he was like, this is the typical, like, you know, when you have an abusive partner, and they're like, I found you when you were nothing, and I like gave you everything. You were living on the street. You were nothing without me, but you did this, whatever thing, you cheated on me or did whatever. I'm gonna get you back. You're gonna be nothing. I'm gonna like degrade you. And it's like, this is that.
This is that. Yeah. It's super gross. And my apologies for it being super gross. But that's yeah. This is what apologetics brings us to.
Yeah. Also,
unfortunately. So
this is something that I definitely want to bring attention to, because if you, as a person reading this text, if you decide that this is something that you want to incorporate into your tradition, if you don't push back on this kind of rhetoric, I have questions. Okay. I really do. I am very concerned that there are people that read this and go, yep, God was justified, humiliate her, fuck her up. Like, that's gross. That's disgusting. That's immoral. And that's horrific. And one thing is, for instance, there are traditions who use these texts and they push back on this. And I can't imagine going back to a tradition that just took this as it's written and went, yep, that's fine. So, yeah, this is incel behavior. Yeah, I mean, and it goes along with some of the passages from like the Torah, where, they camp outside after they've left Egypt in the narrative, and the narrative is very clear that they left with like a shitload of flocks and money and gold and all this other stuff. And yet, like 5 minutes later, they say, we want meat. Give us meat. And I'm sitting here like, you have so many flocks. So many. And in the narrative, God gets really pissed and goes, okay, I'm going to give you meat till it's coming out your nose. And that's when the flocks, blow in, and anybody eats it dies. And I'm like, that attitude, that's the same kind of attitude. But I'm also like, that passage makes me laugh, because it's like, literally, you came out of Egypt with a plunder. You weren't hurting for stuff. I don't know why you just didn't want to use it, or if you were like, he should like give us everything without us having to work for it. But I don't know. Yeah, this passage though, if you don't push back, I have concerns. So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. Yes, absolutely correct. Before we move on to the next part here, let's, I think, because Christopher Sanford saw where this was going. Thank you for the super chat. Is there any textual or historical cultural reason to think that the phrase translated as "attain woman" is to do with starting to menstruate? Yeah, Zimmerly thought so. And it could be, right? It could be. That's not my preferred reading, but it's a totally viable one. And Tad says, some bullshit I made up. That's the age of consent.
That's the age of consent. Yeah, he definitely went. The United States law of 18 definitely applies to the Bible.
Yeah.
No, doesn't. It doesn't.
Wild, just wild, right?
Like 2,500 years too late for that one, champ.
This is not what the text is for. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, and like this passage for real is the prophet is rebuking like an entire nation, right? And he's using a metaphor to them that was completely understandable. Like the way that you humiliate people, the worst humiliation that there is sexual humiliation.
Mm-hmm.
You see that in the story of Lot with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The way that the people of that town could possibly think to degrade the visitors was sexual humiliation, right? And this is another one. So that part of humanity does not change. People still think this way. People still internalize this. So
correct. Yeah. No, it's oh no, what happened? Okay, I've got another screen to share, so I'm just getting that ready.
Digital Hammurabi says, I just got back, but I'll bet Kip ignored my clear and circumspect question. Do you even teach Hebrew, bruh?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I miss? Oh. God. Damn it. I just got back, but yeah. Do you even teach? As a matter of fact, January 13th, I do. Sign up.
Apparently, Josh didn't get here until after we had already promoted,
I guess,
his website and linked it. So,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So in this next part, we're going to continue a little bit. I promise it's not the next part is not as horrible, thankfully.
Good.
But we are going to continue on this weird conversation about marital age and rights and those sorts of things, right? So
preemptive recommendation for Dr. Jennifer Bird's book on biblical marriage.
I didn't actually put that on my. It's very good. It is very good.
Because the short story is, it's not actually marriage like we think about it. It's like some guy goes, I want that woman. I'm going to take that woman. And most of the time he gets permission from the father to do it.
Yeah. So, and in times when he doesn't, there's workarounds. So, and we will talk about some of those too. Well, listen, Tad. Unfortunately, because it's Michael Jones,
not horrible.
right? It's This is kind of where we are. All right. So, do you want to grab the? That's not me right now. That'll come next. But we'll watch the video first.
Okay.
Do you have it? Yeah.
Yeah. Still here.
Here we go.
What about what Brent Shaw says in The Age of Roman Girls at Marriage? Some considerations. What about what Michael Sattler?
Sorry, I shouldn't say anything but his voice cracking just after he got done ranting about puberty.
Says in Jewish Marriage and Antiquity. All of these guys are pointing out that no, it was late teens to early 20s when girls in the ancient world were getting married on average.
That's still the case freaking today in a lot of places.
True. But
this guy's gonna cry when he finds out about quinceañeras.
This is part of the video, and the reason I drew attention to this part of the video because this is part of the video where Michael actually mentions a source for his argument. I'll be fair, he does do this a number of times, but in this particular instance he mentioned Michael Satlow's Jewish Marriage and Antiquity as his source for this claim that on average, he says on average, women in Judean society married in their late teens to early 20s is his claim. He says he gets that from Satlow. So it's important. I think this is important to take a look. Satlow's book, it's thorough. He's got a whole section here on before I get to it. Yeah, I know. This is kind of interesting, actually. He's got a whole section here on marital age from pages 104 to 111. He talks about this. And he begins by pointing out that there is an ideal that's promoted in later rabbinic sources. So this is the Tannaitic sources. The Tannaitic sources are from like the 5th, 6th centuries. And they're usually correcting and commenting on things that happened in the Amoritic period, which is the earlier 2nd, 3rd century CE, right? So it's all post like what we would consider early Judaism, Second Temple Judaism, reflecting back on that quite a bit. Scholars will tell you almost universally that you have to be really, really careful in using these sources and retrojecting backwards. Satlow does a pretty good job of that as a rule, but I think there's some things to say. Sorry, yes, Tanaim are before the Amorim. Yes, thank you. I got that wrong. So here he's talking about the ideal in the earlier rabbinic sources. So this is the 2nd, 3rd century. He says rabbinic, especially Tannaitic sources, project a remarkably serene and uniform picture of ages at which couples married. Men in their late teens married women in their early teens, both under the watchful eyes of active intervention of their fathers. So he says that this is the picture in the Tannaitic literature. He wants to challenge that and says that if you look beyond that in the very, very scant bits of evidence we have from documentary texts and epigraphic texts, and then some literature from the Second Temple period, he says that it looks like men, at least, got married quite a bit older than their late teens. So here is what he says. Despite the Palestinian prescriptions for men to marry at the age of 20, these other sources suggest that 30 was a more usual age for men to marry. The Book of Jubilees, he mentions, consistently portrays the biblical patriarchs as marrying relatively late, even when not compelled to do so by the biblical account. Abraham is 49, Jacob is 76. In their respective testaments, Levi is said to have married young, and that is at 28, Issachar at 30. He goes on to say Josephus himself apparently married for the first time when he was around 30. Philo thinks that the proper age for marriage is between 28 and 35, and for support appeals to a fragment attributed to Solon. The epigraphical record is small and ambiguous, but it does not testify to an early male marriage among Jews in Palestine. There is no evidence that Jewish men who lived in the Greek and Roman worlds regularly married for the first time before their mid to late 20s. By the way, that Jubilees, some of this Jubilee stuff, I'm going to point out, is difficult to... One of the problems with Jubilees is that the author is so fixated on the calendar and trying to fit everything into the calendar, and everything has to happen on like an important day.
It either happens on the first of the first month, or it happens on what later becomes Passover, or it later happens especially on Shavuot. Big fan of Shavuot.
Yeah.
Yom Kippur, later Rosh Hashanah. There's a whole thing about like the reason why you should afflict yourself is the 3 deaths that were caused by Joseph's brothers selling him into slavery. It has to, everything has to line up with it later on holidays.
So bearing that in mind, how much stock do we put into what they're doing with the meritable ages of the patriarchs? Feels like probably not much at all, really. So he goes on to talk a little bit about how this differs with the Babylonian picture, where people seem to have married a little bit earlier, or men certainly married a little bit earlier. He notes here the Babylonian corrections to these Palestinian sources most likely indicate that Babylonian rabbinic men married younger than their Palestinian counterparts. And he provides some evidence there. Other weaker and indirect evidence too suggests that the Babylonian rabbis assumed an average male age of first marriage at about 20. Some halakhic institutions might presuppose that men will marry around 20. Moving on to the next page here, because this is what I really want to get to. There is even less evidence regarding female age at marriage. As noted, the overwhelming impression given in the legal sources is that fathers betrothed their daughters while they were still minors. Without a doubt, this happened. We do not know, however, how often it happened. Several sources indicate that the practice was not universal. A survey of epitaphs of Jewish women from late antiquity reveals relatively few women who married in their early teens, all from a single Jewish graveyard in Rome, with far more marrying in their mid-teens or later. Not a single Jewish inscription from antiquity records a woman married. What was it? Where was it?
Married while under 12?
Yeah, not a single Jewish inscription from antiquity records a woman married while under 12 years old.
Suck
So that's
that anti-Semites. I'm so tired of this. I hear all the time people going, well, the Talmud says that she has to be 3 years old in a day. Like, they're
yeah,
not talking about marriage. They're talking about, like, when you start saying the Shema. Hate this
right.
shit.
It's true.
God.
Rabbinic legal sources themselves hint that many women married on their own initiative. There's this interesting text concerning blemishes on the bride. Assumes that women married when they were at least old enough to be looked over. According to the Mishnah, a man who married a female and subsequently found blemishes that were previously unknown to him can claim that he mistakenly acquired his bride and is entitled to dissolve the marriage without paying her marriage settlement. Nor was the father trusted to make a truthful declaration. If there is a bathhouse in the place, the groom cannot make a claim against the father, even about blemishes that are on her hidden places, because he checks her by means of her female relatives. So the point here that he is trying to make is that based on this rabbinic discussion, a woman usually got married at a point in time in which she could be checked over to make sure that she was, perfect. Which is something that occurred inside the bathhouses, which were age restricted. So you had to be older, you couldn't be a kid in the bathhouse. Ergo, the late teens, early 20s is the argument here. He does go on to say, I think this is interesting. The significance of this rule is clearer when seen against the parallel from the fragment of the Damascus document found at Qumran. And if a man gives his daughter to a man, let him disclose all her blemishes to him, lest he bring upon himself the judgment of the curse which is said, that makes the blind to wander out of the way. So here, Satlow says, the father is called upon to make a truthful declaration. The girl herself is ancillary to the process. The assumption of the text is that the girl is young. And the match is arranged nearly sight unseen. The Mishnah seems like maybe correcting against something like this.
I was going to say that also when you're bathing, like, you're just doing that with people of your own gender. And
yes, exactly.
Like, even today, it is procedure if you go into the immersion, like either for conversion or for like monthly purity rituals and stuff after menstruation. You don't go in there with mixed company. Like, it's you and the mikvah lady and maybe some female friends or relatives. And yeah, they do, hey, are there blemishes? Did you get all your nail polish off? Stuff like that. So that tracks in terms of like customs that more or less continue into the present day.
Yep.
Also, what up, Neil? How's it going?
So, yeah, thank you for your concern, Neil. We are not, I live on a mountain. So, right now, where I live, there is an atmospheric river that is passing through the Fraser Valley. That means, a fuck ton of rain, tons of rain. So there's a lot of flooding in the lower lying areas of my city and in the surrounding region. The last time, well, no, maybe not the last time, but there was a substantial atmospheric river that passed through here about 4 or 5 years ago, and half the city of Chilliwack was basically underwater. But thank you for your concern, Neil. Like I said, I live on a mountain, and this is one of the reasons why. So we're good. We're safe. I appreciate it. So just continuing on here on page 108, within Amoraic sources, so these are the later texts, there is an increasing discomfort with even an ideal of betrothal and marriage. Rabbinic law provides an institution by which a woman whose father has died and who is betrothed while still a minor by her mother or brothers can reject the match when she matures. So the assumption again is that she would at least not marry until she was in her early to mid-teens. Moreover, nearly all of the cases cited in rabbinic literature of minor women who exercise the right of refusal are set in the Tannaitic period, so in the earlier period. Perhaps reflecting Amoraic discomfort with early female betrothal. So the suggestion here is that the Amoraic rabbis are subtly pushing back against some of these Tannaitic ideas where women married at much younger ages, where girls were betrothed and married younger. Betrothal was early, but the practice of the early betrothal. So I'm just going to skip down to in some here. In some, these sources suggest that in Palestine and the Western diaspora, Jewish elite men might have typically married around 30 to women who were in their mid or late teens. Babylonian rabbinic men may have married earlier to women in their early teens. This conclusion is consistent with comparative material and with the arguments made in the first part of the book, of this book. Greek and Roman men also tended to marry when they were in their late 20s or early 30s, given the assumption shared by Greeks, Romans, and Palestinian Jews that a man married to establish a household and thus did so when he was ready to form a new household unit. This age for marriage makes sense. So, the reason I brought that up is because Michael says that according to Satlow, he does, to his credit, Michael does note that this is on average. He says in Palestine, Jewish girls got married, he says, in their late teens and early 20s. Which is not quite what Satlow says.
Not quite.
Satlow says mid to late
Mid
teens.
to late. Yeah.
Importantly, he also points out that it seems to be different in the Eastern diaspora, where it happens earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important to point out that this is on average, which means that this is not fixed in stone, and this is not the way it always happened. This is you can look at customs, but you can't draw hard and fast prescriptions from these, especially when you're dealing with antiquity. I think it's a bit irresponsible for Michael to marshal the sources, marshal the secondary literature in this respect without a really clearly nuanced perspective of this. And I would also argue I'm not entirely convinced that Satlow's argument is all that sound either. Like, I don't know.
I mean, also, there's always a difference between prescribed law and what people actually do on the ground. Like,
yes,
going back to my not great analogy about speed limit, people in the United States, it's just a common thing repeated, like, the cops will give you 5 over. That's not the law. And if you get pulled over, they don't just go, I'll just give you 5 over. Like, that just is a thing people assume and we talk to each other about. And it's like, I guess it's a way to assuage the guilt of speeding. But yeah, the speed limits change.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? The interstate used to be 55. Now it's 70, unless you're in Texas. And then it's like, you can actually go much faster than 70 on just the open West Texas road, because there's nothing out there. And then a lot of part of, I think, New Mexico and Arizona have a really high speed limit when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So
here in British Columbia, we have variable speed corridors. Do you have those? Variable speed corridors where the speed limit will change based on conditions and traffic. So,
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's never, of course, that never means it's never high enough as far as I'm concerned. So it's just, it feels like you're always going slower through the variable speed corridors. I'm sure it's a safety thing, and it's annoying. It's annoying, guys. All right. A couple of super chats, and then we will move on to the last
Okay.
section here. Lieutenant Matt, the Navigator, thank you for the super chat. But what if we just repeat some nonsense a fundamentalist preacher man said from the pulpit and ignore all contemporary evidence?
Yeah, but Kip, have you considered?
This is nuh-uh. This is the way, right? This is the way. Tad is mad, but is it a volcano? Not if it's in Canada. No.
We had a discussion about this, Kip.
Landon agrees
and yes,
with
I
me.
am hanging on the Sanctorum. I might like Doctor Strange just a little.
Just a little. All right. You want to bring the video back up, and we'll look at this. So he's going to shift gears here. Let me just make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah. So
Wait,
he's going
what?
to shift.
Damn it. See, I kept getting that question on the mobile side of the chat. And I was like, well, if I just put a banner up, then maybe people will come over if they're in the wrong place. Well, that's disappointing. Thanks for telling me, though. Where? Okay.
It's a work in progress, you guys.
Oh.
Okay, so now.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Spotlight this. Where is this in the left hand side? Why can I not see this in the proper? Well, it's not coming up, but Simone at some point did type, God refers to themselves as Ezer Kenegdo. I enjoy the timeliness of that meme. So, anyway, if you don't know what that's referencing, just move on.
All right. So, we're going to finish up here. The last thing these guys talk about, because of course they do, are laws governing what we would classify as sexual assault in Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Okay.
And of course, because they can't help themselves and because they don't understand how Hebrew works, apologists like Michael Jones just fuck this up every time.
Shocking. Here we go.
Whereas in Christianity, there's flexibility, but still guidance. And that is why we see far better results coming out of Christian societies.
Honey, I've read enough genealogy records and Catholic parish books to say that you are so wrong. So many. The only regulation happens like early in the colonial period where they'll, if you're lucky, put in the 2 parallel family trees to show what level of consanguinity you have to the person you want to marry, because there weren't a lot of families to marry into or out of. So if you were more than like, I think it's 3 generations, if you weren't more than 3 generations removed, they wouldn't they wouldn't let you get married, or you had to get like uber special permission in the dispensation. And it's like, you kind of cringe, but also as a genealogist, you get really excited when you read dispensations because it'll give you like multiple generations in a family tree. And you're just like, yes, saves you a lot of time and work. So
it does.
Okay. Shall we proceed? Also, Critical Explorer and some letters and numbers. So
that's
why
the
is
light
he
of
so
Christ.
angry? Is that the
Indeed, yeah. Yeah.
Look at him. His face is so red because he's emanating the light of Christ.
That's it.
Yeah. All right.
Then whatever Islam came up
Is
with.
it flexibility?
Then whatever Islam came up with. Weirdo.
When the Bible tells a rapist to marry the virgin that he raped and pay her father 50 silver shekels.
Where did God say that? You're gonna go to Deuteronomy 22.
God didn't say that. Someone wrote that in the Bible, and you claim that is the word of God.
Why don't you read the prayer verses?
Okay.
Yeah, read the prayer verses about the woman in the field.
Woman in the field.
Yeah.
I just told you that there is a verse in the Bible, okay, that says a rapist.
It says rapist.
Yes, a person
call them
who forcefully forces themselves on a woman sexually.
Start in verse 25, please.
1 second.
22, 20. I can read it. You want me to read it?
I don't want you to read anything. Let me finish my point.
That's fine. You can roll the clock down. We know where this is going.
James. Look, I'll read the verse for you and then we can move on. Deuteronomy 28,
Amazing.
verse 28.
Starting
28 to
25.
29. James.
25.
Let's give Junior a chance. Go ahead, Junior.
If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver.
What version is that?
He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. That is the Bible, my friend.
What is
I know. I'm laughing. This is incredible stuff, really. Incredible stuff.
I mean, that
Go
was
ahead.
legitimately, that was objectively, not the, before he cited the passage, that was objectively funny. It was.
James.
Uh,
James.
nice job.
I'm
Junior.
sorry. It's just great. I'm pulling up Deuteronomy 22.
Yeah. Press
I
play
love that he was
while
like,
you're
what
doing that.
translation is that? Buddy, you
Yes.
don't care what translation it is. You can't even read it in the original. Who cares?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Press
Okay.
play.
What verse? Okay.
Before we get to the text, can we
after the-
finish what?
Yeah, sure.
So
Okay.
we'll
We're so close.
yeah.
version is that? What version are you reading from?
New English Version, King James Version, all the major
No, you're reading from the
translations.
NIV.
No.
Yeah, you are.
So you're denying the NIV?
Yeah, the NIV is crap.
Kind of is.
I would never say
I-
that about
I-
a tafsir
listen,
of the Quran.
pause it for a
Yeah,
second.
the word
because
is
I
not
think
actually.
but let's give Michael his due. I
The
agree.
NIV is kind of garbage.
The NIV is pretty bad. Definitely not in among my favorite versions. So well done for recognizing this. Unfortunately, Michael has no goddamn idea why the NIV is crap. None at all.
And I think it's interesting, at least I don't want to say funny, but it's interesting to me that there is a really high priority in Islam about reading the Quran in Arabic. Like translations, you really do focus on learning it and studying it and reciting it in Arabic, which honestly
Yeah.
I appreciate, because people engage at least with the text as we understood it to have been written,
as it was received,
or at least how we still have it. And when you read stuff in the original language, it really changes the mindset, because there are turns of phrase, or there's maybe puns or wordplay or little things in there that you don't get in translation. So, like, props to Islam. But yeah, it is funny that he's like, I would never say this about like a version of the Quran.
about
And
a
it's like,
version of the Quran, right?
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
okay, but there's not a lot of those. So
yeah, you've got the one. So
yeah, like there are
I bet-
translations of it in English,
Listen,
obviously, but you're generally going to try to read it in Arabic. So
I'll say this: Junior's probably unaware of this, but I have heard that David Wood is actively funding. He's got an active project on the go for a new English version of the Quran.
interesting.
And I bet Junior would probably be happily call that one crap. Because what David Wood wants to do is just turn it into a caricature of itself. So yeah, play.
Someone's like, you're on the same thing as my very good friend who's constantly posting reels of Muslim stuff going, look, they're just like us, I love them, which is true and very cute. Like, look, Jews have more in common with Muslims than we do Christians. That's just the end of it.
Probably. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
That right there should be a sign that Islam is literally better for humanity, because we actually respect our religion. We would never call even the Bible, we would never call it what Michael just called
What's
it.
the word in Hebrew?
The word in
Veneration for your text doesn't make it more true or beneficial, and also what people consider seriously varies widely between communities of Christians. So neither of those is particularly a good argument for one's religion's beneficence in society.
Before you press play,
That's
did you hear
kinda
him
weak
flex?
sauce.
Did you hear Michael flex?
What's the word in Hebrew, Mike? You
What's
don't know
what's the
it.
word? What's the word in Hebrew?
As
Yeah,
if
very-
that
what
as if he
is-
knows it.
What is the word in Hebrew, Michael?
Let's find
Rape.
out.
It means to
It's
handle,
rape.
to catch.
It's rape.
Why don't you start in verse 25? Because here's the thing
No,
about
I
Deuteronomy
won't.
22.
Let's talk
It
about
gives
this
two
verse.
analogies.
No,
It gives
listen, you Christian apologists do this to Muslims all day long. I'm going to do it to you today.
It gives two analogies. The first one is a woman caught in the field. That man is put to death because he seizes her and no one is crying out. The analogy he's talking about, noted it says they are caught. This is about them both.
Look.
And it says they're in the city because if she would have cried out, someone would have heard them. Because in those cities, they were very collectivist. They were very tight-knit. You couldn't.
Collectivist, something Christianity, like in the West, does not have the first clue about if you're
No.
evangelical.
Do that. So this is the difference. You got to start in verse 25. See the man who's raping her in the field versus the next analogy, which is a couple caught in the city together. So you got to actually go beyond this and look at the context.
Let's
That's
go
not-
to the
that is-
text.
That is not right. But
Let's
do you see
go.
what he's doing here? Let's start. So first of all, let's look at the verse here. Deuteronomy 22:25. We'll start there. I think it's 25. Or no,
If
28.
the man
Go to 28.
comes upon the
We're
engaged
gonna work.
girl,
We're gonna
so-
work our way backwards here. Okay.
Okay.
So
So-
go to 28 first.
All right.
And we're going to work our way backwards because this is the text that Junior brought up. Okay, if a man comes upon a na'ara betula,
Each
that is
na'ara,
a virgin girl
but
who has not lo orasa, she has not been betrothed, she has not been spoken for, and
that one's called
the
dib.
word here, utfasha, and he grabs her or seizes her and lies with her, and they are discovered. What is
They
the
are found,
result
yeah.
of this? They are
It's,
found.
yeah.
The man who lay with her shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his woman, because he has violated her, using this. There's a very, very tricky word, ina, here in
Mhm.
Hebrew, which we won't have time to get into, but it's very, very interesting. He has violated her. He can never have the right to divorce her. So the elements, and this is what Junior is pointing out here, the man grabbed her and he slept with her, and as a result, this is very importantly a bitala na'ara, a virgin girl who has not been spoken for, not betrothed, not engaged. Okay, lo orasa, not spoken for. So he grabs her.
Not dibs.
Not dibs. He sleeps with her, and they're found. At that point, he has to pay. He has to pay the father for her, and she is now his woman. This is effectively you have had sex with this girl. She's yours now. Give me my money. Give me the dowry that's owed her. However, importantly, it's a fairly high price, actually more than you would expect for a typical dowry, which is important to this text. So now what Michael says to him first, he's like, well, no, don't read this out of context. You got to go back up to verse 25 to see what's going on here, right? So shall we read 25, 26, and 27? Okay.
I actually need to, because it's actually 23 where the start.
You're cheating, Vish. You're cheating. Let's do this the way
Fine.
Michael wants to do this. Okay. Verse
Fine.
25. But anything that starts with but is always the very beginning of a new thing. This is clearly the sign that we're talking about something totally new here, and not continuing on a previous idea when we start with but. But if the man comes upon, the man finds the hana'ara ha miorasa. So the girl who is betrothed or is engaged in the field, and the man, it says here, lies with her by force. It's vehechezek ba. He literally, he grasps her, he grabs her forcefully is the verb there, and lies with her. Only the man who lay with her shall die. Moving on. But you shall do nothing to the girl. The girl did not incur the death penalty for the cases like that of a man attacking another and murdering him. He came upon her in the open. Though the engaged girl cried for help, there was no one to save her. So he's juxtapositioning these two things. Girl in the field, who is grasped. He asks, what's the Hebrew word? There's different Hebrew words here, right? We have hechazik, which means to take by force. And then in the next text, it's the root is tafas, which means to grab or to take. But there are other things to consider here as well. So, but Michael wants to say this is rape. Yes. The man took her by force. He lay with her. They were found. He's the only one who's killed because there was no one to rescue her. And even if she was crying out, nobody could hear her anyways. He wants to say that in verse 28, the difference here, he even points this out. Well, this is a girl who's in the city. When you're in the city, when you're in the close confines, and nobody, if you cry out, someone's going to hear you, is the suggestion here. So, this is probably consensual. And we know that because it says that they found them together. This is Michael's argument. There's all sorts of problems with this argument. I mean, he chastised Junior for not looking at this text in the entire context. Well, you know what? Michael, because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, has also failed to look at this text in the entire context because it actually starts at verse 23. One of the things we know, I want to point this out here. Notice at the very beginning so this is verse 23. Notice at the very beginning here of verse 23, it says, Ki yehya. Ki, in
when it
these
happens,
legal
or
codes.
if it happens.
When it happens, if it happens. But ki, this word ki, in the legal material is really crucial for indicating the beginning of a new ruling. This is a new case. Here's the new thing. In the case of a na'ara betula me'orasa, a virgin girl who has been spoken for. She's engaged to a man. She's been spoken for by a man. If a man comes upon her in the city and lies with her, you shall take the two of them out to the gate of that town and stone them to death. The girl, because she did not cry out for help in can you scroll up so I can see it? Yeah. And the man, yeah.
Because he violated another man's wife, a woman.
He violated the woman of his companion, of his friend, another man. Thus you will sweep away the evil from your midst.
It's victim blaming, first of all, but second of all,
yes,
it doesn't consider the woman's feelings or her agency at all. The man's sin was violating the woman of another man. So he damaged some other guy's property. That's his sin. See, this is why you shouldn't be getting your morality or your legal codes from an Iron Age document. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because their only conception of like sexual impropriety was it has to be violent. That's how they understand it. Mm-hmm. That's why she has to cry out. Like they don't know about the fight, flight, or freeze thing, right? Mm-hmm. There's just this assumption, oh, well, she'd yell.
This is the part of the text that Michael didn't read.
Nope.
He did not read this. And he really should have. Very importantly, important to point out here, this is the Na'ara Betullah,
A maiden who is super young.
Yeah, Hameorosa. This is the virgin girl who has been spoken for a man. Okay? That's the condition of this. Na'ara Betullah me'orasa le'ish. The virgin girl who has been spoken for by a man, who is engaged to a man. So that's the condition here. Betrothed. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and the ruling, the assumption is that importantly, the assumption, and the writer would, importantly, consent is never an issue. It's never something that is really a consideration. But in the mind of the writer, the woman wanted it, because if she didn't, she would have cried out. That's the
you can tell a man wrote this. God.
Yeah. So, and as a result, they both incur the punishment. Okay, let's move on to the text that Michael did read, verse 25. And I'm going to point something out very important here. Ve'im basadeh, but if the man comes upon et hanara hameorasa. Sorry, it's getting, yeah. I've been doing this for almost 3 hours here.
Hamarasa.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a
Hamarasa.
scene.
So this is a continuation. We know this because if you can actually read Hebrew, you can see the clause begins here with ve'im, not with ki, not a new ruling. Ve'im indicates a continuation of the previous ruling. This is where Michael started. He started in the middle of a ruling, and he doesn't know it because he can't read it. He can't read it. But if the man comes upon the engaged girl in the open country, in the field, and he sleeps with her, Hameorasa. Thank you. My mouth is gets, especially after I've been talking for a while, it gets harder to say the Hebrew words after I've been talking for a while. So, and here it uses vehechezek, vehechezikba, and he grasps hold of her. This is the Hifio form of chazak, which means to seize or to grasp. Sleeps with her. Then the man is to be put to death because she is deemed innocent, because nobody was afraid of the doubt is provided, right? But the important thing is the condition on this. She is a na'ara betullah sorry, can I say it again? Yeah, hameorasa. She is still betrothed. This is still the betrothed girl. This is the continuation. If a betrothed girl is in the city, you have to kill them both. If the betrothed girl is it happens in the country, you let her live. That's the difference. Okay? Yes.
Years ago, I was writing an essay on this, and it's much easier if you go 1 through 4. So there's 4 scenarios that are laid out in this passage. 1, man, married woman, both die. Man, betrothed maiden. City, both die. Man, betrothed woman, girl. Countryside, just the guy. Man, not betrothed woman, no one dies.
Yes. That is very simple. It is very simple. And it's right. You just have to read the text and you have to understand what you're looking at.
God.
So let's go down. Let's go back now to verse 28. Okay. All right. Ki yimtsa ish na'ara betula asher lo orasa.
Orasa.
New. This is a new ruling because of the key clause. All right. So something has changed here. Michael has no idea that that has happened because he can't read the text. He doesn't understand the language. He doesn't know what he's reading. He doesn't see this. If a man finds a virgin who is not engaged, she is
Also,
not betrothed.
I kind of want to quarrel with the JPS translation of this. Yimtza, it comes from matzah, which is like to find. So I don't like this kind of passive translation.
know,
He
yeah.
comes upon a virgin, like
Yeah.
if he finds her.
Yep.
It's like he found her in the field. You know, it's like
That's right.
or he found her, period. It's like I really wish people sometimes would be a little more like direct or literal with their translations instead of softening it, but whatever.
Yep. Another different word is used here too. Utfasa. And he seizes her is how JPS translates this. And that's how I would translate this. This is the issue that Michael takes issue with. When he asks Junior, what's the Hebrew word there? This is what he's talking about. Utfasa.
Yeah.
And what he says about it is it means what did he say? It means to handle. It means to take hold of. The suggestion is that this is somehow I've seen Joel Carrico, our friend,
Just about to
has
say this. I pulled up
pushed on
Genesis
this.
39.
We're going to talk about this, Joel. We're going to talk about this. He thinks that this is a word of what does he put? Of sexual how did he put it? Sexual, like really sexual forwardness. Real flirtiness is how he wants to understand this. I've seen commentators suggest that this is like giving her a big hug. Right?
Gross.
Yeah. As a way to say, well, perhaps this is consensual. Importantly, the issue of consent is not the writer does not care. That's not what's at issue here. For him, it's wife, betrothed girl, unbetrothed girl. Okay.
Well,
those are the categories.
Somebody's woman rather than wife.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, and see, like this one, a woman who's not, well, a young maiden who isn't engaged. So she's not betrothed. She doesn't have an obligation to marry a specific guy. So she's free property, basically. And that's why you see the fine. When he lays with her, he pays the girl's father because she's his property until a marriage is either promised or carried out.
And that is the big difference here. Because for the other two cases, the girl in the city and the girl in the field, that's a girl for who has already been paid for. So the situation in the mind of this writer is different because of that valuation. This is a girl who has not been paid for. So the provision is made. Just give her dad some money and you can take her and keep her because now she's yours. It's
but
probably,
it's also like, hey, he may or may not have gotten caught up in the moment like Shechem, but it's like he can't send her away. He can't divorce her. So it's like,
that's right.
I guess in their mind, they're disincentivizing rape because it's like, well, if you do that, you got to marry her. You can't divorce her. You're stuck with her. And it's like, that wouldn't deter anybody. That wouldn't deter anybody.
Put the text down for a minute because we'll look at Josh has written this is 8 to the Old Testament volume 2.
2. Nice.
Yeah. He's written extensively about this particular text, and We'll just look. He's got a whole thing about this from page 315 to 324. But I want to pay close attention to what he says here about this, starting in 321. Josh says, of all the passages about rape, and he's speaking of Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29, the unbetrothed girl for whom the penalty is paid. He says, of all the passages about rape in the biblical laws, these two verses are among the more hotly debated. Perhaps the most significant part of the debate is over the meaning of the Hebrew word tafas, which is what Michael wants to land his plane on. To seize. If the nuance of the verb to seize is to grab by force, then the passage is almost certainly about rape. However, if it simply means to take hold of or to embrace, then it could be argued that this is a case of seduction or consensual sex. For example, Lundebaum writes that the verb, quote, to seize need not imply force. Friar Kensi states, the third law, verses 28 to 29, involves sex of an unengaged girl, but does not state that she was overpowered. Josh says, let's take a look at the broader usage of the word tafas to see how we should translate it. The verb occurs 65 times in the Hebrew Bible in a total of 60 verses. When we examine some of the uses of the word chazak, to seize, which everyone agrees is indicative of rape, we saw that some contexts might allow for a more idiomatic or nuanced meaning. However, with the verb tafas, there is a clear and consistent use of the verb, particularly when it concerns seizing people. We won't go into all 65 occurrences of the verb, as a sampling of examples will more than suffice. There are several examples in which the verb is used by a ruling official to command someone to be seized or arrested. In 1 Kings 13:4, we read, and when the king heard the word of the man of God, who called out concerning the altar of Bethel, Jeroboam stretched out his hand from the altar, saying, seize him. Similarly, in 1 Kings 18:40, we read, and Elijah said to them, seize the prophets of Baal, do not let anyone escape. And they seized them. And Elijah brought them down to the Wadi Kishon and executed them there. Several other verses contain similar commands or descriptions of seizing and arresting actions. With all this in mind, let's return to Deuteronomy 22:28. If a man finds a young virgin woman who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her, in keeping with the overwhelming majority of occurrences in which people and objects are objects of seizure, this verse certainly should be understood as the man grabbing, restricting, forcing the woman to lie with him. These data have led most scholars to conclude that this is a forced sexual act. For example, Otto writes, in case that the same happened to a not yet incoherently married girl who was not subject to marriage laws, it was not a case of death penalty, neither for the man nor the girl, but the matter of compensation, even if the man caught the girl by force. Similarly, Nelson concludes, in regard to verse 28, some suggest that tafas, seize, could be understood simply as hold, as in Amos 2:15. When used with people as its object, however, always means hold by force. That's probably enough. Important. So I'll say one more thing here. Just a little bit further below, Josh points this out. I think this is also an important point. Further evidence that the passage describes forcible rape can be found in the apparent increased monetary value of the penalty imposed upon the man. Verse 29 states that the rapist will have to pay 50 pieces of silver to the father, a seemingly high amount for just a bride price, and he will not be allowed to divorce her. By comparison, in Exodus 22, verses 16 to 17, I have it here. And it says, if a man seduces a virgin, and it uses a different word there. It is yifate. If a man seduces a virgin who is not betrothed and sleeps with her, he must absolutely pay her dowry. She is his woman. But say the father totally refuses to give her to him, he shall weigh silver in accordance with the dowry of a virgin. So the Deuteronomy law is looking back on this one and making changes. And one of those changes is this high penalty now, the 50 pieces of silver. So by comparison, in Exodus, a man who entices a virgin daughter to sleep with him must pay the bride price. Tegay argues, if the seducer of Exodus 22:16 is required to pay an average bride price, the 50 shekels paid by the rapist in Deuteronomy 22:28-29 probably presents a combination of an average bride price plus punitive damages. However, it may be that the 50 shekels was simply the standard bride price at the time of writing, as the 100 shekels of silver paid to the father in Deuteronomy 22:19 may represent double the bride price. If there is an additional monetary penalty assigned to the man, this would also suggest that the guilt lies with the man, not with the woman. In either case, given the context of the case, the prohibition for the man against divorcing his wife and the verb used to describe the aggression in the act, this is almost certainly a case of rape. So, like, for Michael to gloss over the nuance here, for him to gloss over the problems here, the full discussion here, the understanding of the text in context, yeah. This is either just irresponsible or it's bad faith. And honestly,
Look.
he is incompetent enough that I think the former is entirely possible, but he's duplicitous enough that I think it could also be the latter. I tend to lean more towards the former because I really don't think Michael understands anything that's going on here in these texts.
Look, I can't get past this. Michael is so committed to the supremacy of Christianity that he has to defend rape. He has to. The same way he has to defend the Bible talking about slavery. He cannot allow it to be immoral. It's not allowed to do that.
You can't.
And
you can't.
In this section, again, women already know this. We read this passage and it makes us seize up in fear, because we've known men who would take this as, I know exactly how to make this woman my permanent, like, slave, essentially. Because men do this shit today. All right? Even if it's not, like, done under the legal pretense of marriage, men kidnap women all the time and hold them prisoner. That's how this reads to us. And I've noticed a trend among scholars, obviously, you know, yourself and Josh and some other folks like included, to try and soften this because they can't handle it saying something that's morally repugnant to us. I can look at this and go, that's morally repugnant. At the same time, I go, that's what was going on the ground in that region at the time. I don't have to get my morality from an Iron Age text. Thanks.
There's a huge collection of comparative literature here, which basically demonstrates that is exactly what is happening. I think this is a useful point. It could be both, and I assume, Holly, what you're suggesting is that this could be the ruling for any unbetrothed girl who a girl who maybe wants to have sex with a guy that she likes. This would be the same outcome, because that just didn't matter in the mind of the writer. That's not the important point. The important point is that compensation is made. The proper compensation is made. That's what's key. So whether it's consensual or not consensual, they're not even asking that question. It's just not an issue. The outcome is the same.
Yeah, it's not a factor.
it-
But also, like, the stories in the earlier parts are set in the Bronze Age, but the texts were written and compiled in the
yeah.
Iron Age. This is like
Definitely
not even a
Iron
question in
Age.
scholarship.
Nope.
So yeah,
Yeah, definitely Iron
Yeah.
Age. All right.
which is
So
why I give everyone's chat and everyone watching this in the future permission to clap back on any idiot that goes Bronze Age go hers. Like, motherfucker, this was written in the Iron Age. Get your shit right. And they had to be educated because goat herders typically didn't get this kind of education. So stop talking out your ass.
true.
Like,
Lieutenant
dunk on
Matt the
shit.
Navigator says the
Oh,
Christian
hey!
apologists will almost universally take the viewpoint of the powerful and never the exploited. Yeah. Which is
Look
which
at
is
you, Gavin
crazy,
Ortland.
right? Which is crazy because, and I think it's important to point out, I'm excuse me. We're gonna have to stop here pretty quick. But the crazy thing here, and I appreciate that you pointed this out, that this is the Christian apologist who will almost universally take this viewpoint and not Christians, because there's a whole bunch of Christians on the earth of all different sorts, and they're not all universally terrible. Most of them,
Nope.
I don't think are.
I would say most of them are fairly normal.
Yes. Thank you. This is a special brand of person, and it's wild that it's an overwhelming majority of those who identify as apologists. It's part of the job at this point, I think. Part of the job is being right in your own mind.
Yeah.
Part of the job is arguing to the conclusion that you have established, and in the face of all the evidence. It doesn't matter what it is. You've got to figure out how to harmonize that shit or just ignore it and dismiss it so that you can get to the right conclusion. Christian apologetics.
And that's
and
just like
also,
what I said with Mike. They cannot let the text be what it is. They refuse to let it speak for itself.
Which is probably why Mike is resistant to actually learning Hebrew. Because once he does, it becomes harder. It becomes a lot harder to make up bullshit about the text.
Mike,
if
this
you
is
can
your
actually
chance to prove
read
him
it.
wrong.
There was a free offer. There was a scholarship
Unless
offer.
you're yellow. Learn Hebrew, coward.
Yeah. Do that. So yeah, so we're gonna start wrapping up here. A reminder to everyone, there's a link if you're interested in learning Hebrew.
That's right. I gotta post this in here.
Oh yeah. Where are you posting? I did post this link.
I'm gonna go get the digital Himmerati link.
Okay, yeah. These are in the description as well, guys. So if you're interested, I'm starting on January 13th. New class, lots of fun. You'll enjoy it. And I figured I should probably also say something about this. Where is it? Oh, so there we go.
Hey, it's the book you didn't write.
It's the book I didn't write. That is still not an audio book that you can purchase here, but you know what? It's very soon. All the work on my end has been done for the audiobook. I'm just waiting for processing and whatever Audible has to do, and it could take 2 weeks. So keep your eyes open for the audiobook. If continue buying the paperback, the ebook, and the hardcover. And I hope people enjoy the book. One of the things that I'm planning on doing in the new year as well. This was an idea that was this is not my idea. This was Prixie Purple's idea, who has actually signed up for my Hebrew course, by the way.
Hey,
She
nice.
suggested, yeah, some time ago that I do a book club for the book after everything's been
Heck
published.
yeah.
So I think I'm going to do that, and that's going to be open to people on the Patreon or people who are channel members. So if you want to be involved in that, just go to Patreon and you can join for as little as $4 a month. My YouTube memberships are exorbitantly expensive, but you know what?
They take like a third of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, but that we're going to get together and we will do regular meetups to talk about the book. People will have interactive time to ask questions and to raise discussion points about the book with me and with a community of others who have read it. So that's coming in the new year.
Take classes on Hebrew, because the more people that can read it, the more people I can study with and talk about cool linguist things.
Right?
I need
That's
more of
really
those.
we have ulterior motives here, guys, because all we want is more people to talk to about this shit. So yeah, so make sure that you that you learn the language.
Like, look, I study with a lot of people from all walks of life, and I love doing it because sometimes the text is really funny, or it's sarcastic, or it's irreverent, or it's like spicy. I love reading it and looking at all the little linguist things, and pattern-seeking brain make ape happy.
Hey. So what you got going on, Vish? What's coming up?
Woo! I think tomorrow we're gonna be back on Dapper Dinosaur's channel debunking. Who were we talking about last time? I blocked these out.
The creationists who are even worse than raw mad. Who are even dumber than raw mad. I'm pretty sure it's. And oh my god, something amazing has happened. Dapper shared with us, was that yesterday or the day before, that one of the guys in the video that we're talking about, he left a comment on Dapper's channel. So he watched. Maybe he'll come by tomorrow. Which would be fun. Maybe he'll come back. I'm looking forward to that.
A good person for them to talk to, because he's not combative.
Yeah.
He's not a hater like me. He treats them like very politely, and he's very knowledgeable. And yeah, he's I've seen him have some really good conversations with young Earth creationists. So yeah. Oh yeah, he super chatted during the premiere. That's
just
right.
Amazing. Yes. Pretty awesome. So yeah, so that's Saturday. And then and you're still working on your stuff with Chrissy?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, because like I've had some really stressful housing things going on where I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to move, or I don't know. It's really tenuous, and that's like the biggest stressor in my life, is the potential of not having housing. So trying not to have an anxiety attack about that.
Worst time, like, I mean, the timing's never good, but seriously, like, end of the year, right at
it's just never good.
Jesus,
ever.
But
so yeah, I just don't like that kind of instability, and there's like a history of instability that I had when I was way younger than this, so I don't think I ever really got through that. So that sucks. But I am kind of doing like part-time gigs for other people, which is really nice, and I'm hopefully going to get a little better at editing. And if that happens, you'll know, because you'll start seeing more videos on my channel. The number one reason that there aren't more is because I hate editing. I hate it. I'm not great at it. If I can just turn on the live stream and go, then that's fine. but the free tier of StreamYard only gives you so many hours per month. So.
It gives you only so many. It's true. Yeah. So you have to budget accordingly. So yeah. All right. So that's so look, Vish and I will definitely be on Dapper Dinosaur's channel tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night it's time for another installment of Budget Scripture Saturday. I will be back with Nitty and Dr. Tapioca Weasel, and these are becoming a good time. I very much enjoy my Saturday night streams. They're fun. They're seriously a lot of fun. So come and check that out.
They're
That'll be starting
relaxed.
at 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Very chill.
Yeah. Yeah. So it starts at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. It is a busy day tomorrow, though. I will be on with Dr. Joshua Bowen and Lawrence from the Behold Network on Aaron Ross' channel at 4 Pacific. What is it? 7 o'clock Eastern. I don't know what we're doing, but yeah, it's going to be like an all-day thing. So I don't know what we're doing. So come and find out. We'll find out together. And that should be fun and good. I like hanging out with both Josh and Lawrence and Aaron, and Aaron's cool too. So there's that. And then
yeah, he's cool too.
Yeah. Next week, there's no snow yet. Not here. Later in the month, probably not till January for me though, sadly, but I'd love to. So next week on Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, I will be on Deconstruction Zone with Justin. I'm very excited about this because he has asked me to come on and talk about the compositional history of the book of Jeremiah, which is my jam.
That's extremely your wheelhouse. Yeah,
that is my jam. So
remind me what you wrote your dissertation on.
Traditions of Jeremiah in Early Judaism, which guess what, deals a lot with the compositional history of the book of Jeremiah. So and there is as I mentioned to Justin, he was on Kitty Got to Breed with me yesterday, and I mentioned to him that like lots of people know this stuff. They know about the differences between the Septuagint and the Masoretic text. They know about the internal material, the Jeremiah ABC divisions, and how scholars handle the different layers within the text. There's some really, really interesting manuscript evidence that I think a lot of people aren't familiar with from the Dead Sea Scrolls, stuff that I've worked on. I have I've done the Snyder cut of the Logic. Very nice.
Does Jeremiah have toxic fans like Snyder?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he does. Yeah. So yeah, but there's stuff in the Dead Sea Scrolls, stuff that I have when I was doing my last my second last postdoc. This was one of my projects was looking at one of the Jeremiah manuscripts, and there's some really interesting things going on there that pertain to the compositional history of the text. So yes, come Thursday on Deconstruction Zone.
That reminds me of in our Jubilees class, we're coming up to the last week. We're going to finish off like the last 7+1 chapters. And this week when we were reading, it was the phrase where I think Jacob's blessing Joseph's kids, but he lists like these 7 great oaths, one of which is repeated, but don't worry about it. And people in the class were like, okay, this seems weird in English and we can't read Ge'ez, so what does it say? Is it preserved in the Dead Sea Scrolls? Is this passage? So what did I do? Shout out Mount Monger. I went and pulled out DJD 414 and scrolled down and tried to find it. And yeah, that passage is kind of preserved.
Was this Papyrus Jubilees?
It was really frustrating because it's the second half of the verse that we want is like 36 verse 7 or something like that. It was the second half of the verse after that entire blessing string had gone by, and I was like, damn it. But then you look at what's actually on the page and it's like 2 letters and then a big gap or the page is like ruined, and then there's like 2 or 3 more letters, and you're like, this is a joke. This is a freaking joke.
It seriously is. Yeah, I just when you look at the edition that that Vanderkam wrote for Papyrus Jubilees, I'm serious. I'm like, what were you doing? What were you doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just Vanderkam is a great. Oh, he's retired now, but he is a great scholar. But you know what? Sometimes even the best of us just we don't have our best moments, and I that was one of them for Jim. Seriously,
Yeah.
it's
very frustrating,
it's
and
wild.
some of the things that Matt Monger has talked about with this like particular set of documents and fragments mostly. I'm understanding a lot of his criticisms now. When I read, I'm like, oh, this is what he's talking about. Okay, yeah, 100% cosign. So
totally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should get out of here. My dogs are hungry.
Feed the puppies.
I have to feed the dogs. So thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you. Make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think I missed any super chats. Thank you everyone for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Vish, for hanging out and keeping things on track today. This is very good.
I don't know if I did. I feel like I derailed it quite a bit.
It's hard. It's hard because
like,
oh my god, he's such a when you say as many stupid things as Michael Jones does, I get it. I understand it entirely, and that's why that's gonna happen all day. Oh yeah, right. I've got Force Falcon on the show tomorrow.
If you do, tell him to check his email because I sent Forrest an email, and I hope that he sees it. His website says that he reads all of them. He doesn't respond to all of them, but he says he reads all of them. So if you do, just be like, hey, this person reached out to you with some stuff.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know that Vish needs to hear from him. And
not necessarily. He doesn't have to reply. It would just be nice if you read it.
He should look at it though. You should certainly look at it.
I trust that his website accurately portrays the way that he reads his emails because I assume he gets a lot of them, and there's just not enough time today to reply to all of them.
Yeah. So I'm given that I'm going to be on a stream with Aaron.
Forgot to read this because it was funny.
Because
you were quoting so much from it.
Yeah, even though he's owning IP. See, Josh just does this.
Just does it
by osmosis now. It's just it happens passively because it's not hard, right? It's not like anybody's sweating about the tremendously powerful arguments of renowned biblical scholar Michael Jones.
Jeez.
Come on,
titan of thought.
Yeah,
titan of Christian thought.
No,
I don't know about that.
So I think that's it for us.
Nice.
Thanks again, everyone, for coming out, and we're gonna leave you with Gujina because that's the way to roll. Hatikva.